right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Friday to you all. Normal Swede, much love, brother. Welcome in. Are we looking for a bounce or a continuation to the downside? Well, I'll go into that in just a second. And it gets a little messy here because the POCs are different on each exchange. And you guys know I do like to follow Coinbase POCs, which we are below. But every other exchange, the POC is pretty much where we're at right now and starting to bounce from. So we could see a bounce to answer that question. But I think it's going to be a lower high before continuing to the downside. TXRX, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. You long 67,750. Okay. Oh, nice, man. You got in really good there. Make or break zone. Yeah. Okay. I'm expecting bounces. Yes. Easy peasy 86. Welcome in. Peter, welcome in. Let's see. Quality Crypto, welcome in as well. Yeshwant, much love to you. Thank you for joining. Full Port, thank you for joining. Jesus Save 77, God bless you. Thank you so much for being here. Golden Liquidations, not quicker. Much love to you guys. And Samuel S44, much love, brother. Thank you for being here. Thank you for modding. And Dr. Rex and Liam, welcome in as well. So guys, one of the things we've been talking about for this entire range that's been going on about a month, we've been talking about it being a repeat sort of this upper range between 80,500 and 98,000. And we've been looking at a sort of fractal of what happened, a complex WXY correction. Let me get to the Coinbase chart here, where we could see that rejection from that key anchored VWAP area and 0.5 Fibonacci before seeing that dump to the downside. So very similar. This fractal here is just this range pulled and shrunk down to match this lower time frame. But we pretty much did see something very similar to this here. And are we about to dump now? Are we about to really start to dump here with impulsive price action to the downside? After we rejected from our 98K, our all-time high anchored VWAP at 98K, you can see we saw that big continuation to the downside. Now, within this continuation to the downside that we saw from 98K, we were looking at an impulse. We were looking at an impulsive structure to finish our larger weekly impulse down. And what we were looking at really was this count right here. You know, now our wave 4 to come up to your wave 4, the invalidation for this fourth wave target is 77,338. But if we did come up and reject around our 0.5 Fibonacci, seeing that larger kind of zigzag correction that we see, where especially a lot of people are longing in this stretch of it, it could really give a big fuel for that big push to the downside. And yes, will we see bounces along the way? Yes, we will, guys. And we can also look at this range. There is a possibility of this range continuing, even though it's getting a little bit extended as far as time goes. It's getting a bit extended here, but we are rejecting, and we're falling back inside of our volume profile. So yesterday, in yesterday's video, we were looking at, let's just zoom in onto the 1 hour, and let me hide this volume profile here. We were looking at the bullish scenario because of this price action from last Saturday. And we were looking at a 1-2-1-2. This was our third wave. We wanted to see a bounce 4-5, 4-5, maybe continuing up to 75 to 78K. But we said it's very important if we do come down and hit that 70,128 prior high, we will invalidate the impulse. And then we could maybe look at this as some sort of contracting diagonal to finish it or something like that. We have invalidated that impulse by hitting that low, or hitting that, high, that prior high there. And also we have fallen back inside our volume profile, which is a very bearish thing, because the last time we fell back inside of our volume profile, let me just zoom out to the 4-hour chart and we'll go to this range right up here. I'm going to hide our all-time high range. And if we just pull a volume profile and look at this prior range that we had, you can see here what happened is we broke out of the value area high, hit into that key resistance. That was also a large range point of control up there. And then once we fell back inside, yes, you did fall straight to the POC. So here's a very similar fractal of what's happening right now. As soon as we fell back inside, you drop straight to the POC. Fall back inside, we're dropping straight to the POC on a lot of exchanges. Now on Coinbase, we're a little bit below it. But then you get that kind of corrective range that lasts about a week, even falling to value area low. You get that small bounce from value area low only to get this flat correction in here before the continuation to the downside. So now we could be in a very similar thing where we did reject from an anchored VWAP. Now on Coinbase, it did not hit, but once again, on all the other exchanges, not all the other exchanges, Bybit USD didn't hit as well, but Binance hit that anchored VWAP, wicked above it just a couple $100, just like you did on the prior anchored VWAP. And now if we look at that range, we have fallen back inside of that range. And look at, once you fell back inside the range, you pretty much dump straight down to your macro or to your point of control. And so could we see some relief or a little bit of a range in here over the next couple days? Because that last one took about a week. This is a smaller range. Maybe over the weekend, we kind of grind sideways between the point of control and the value area high. And that would kind of reestablish price action within this range. If we are going to bounce from this area, the key thing to watch for is that bearish backtest of the value area high, because if we do backtest that value area high and reject, we would expect that move down to value area low, and then possible continuation to the downside. So it is bearish that we are falling back inside this range. Are we at local support? Yes. Do we have bull divs on the chart? We do have low time frame bull divs, but it's not much here, guys. If we look at this, our oscillators here on the chart, you can see we do have now coming into the POC, lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum waves here. Actually, NAMI even kind of invalidated the local bull divs, the very most local bull divs on the 15-minute. But we are starting to get that grinding channel in here, that grinding overlap. You get your kind of sharp move down, and now we're starting to grind a little bit more. Could it be a repeat of what happened yesterday? Sharp move down. We were grinding within this descending channel, came to the top of the channel, rejected after taking the liquidity, and then we continued another sharp move down. Yes, we could. But if we're looking at our rejection from the highs, this does now look like an impulsive move to the downside. Moving in on the 1 hour time frame, we got our first initial move down. We got that retracement up to about the 786 Fibonacci. If we pull that Fibonacci here, you can see we rejected right up to the 786 Fibonacci, which is a common target for a wave 2. The most common target is obviously your golden pocket, but for a wave 2 retracement, it's really between the 0.5 and the 786. So we did reject from that 786 Fibonacci, and then we started getting this push down, and this push down, we've continued to maintain bearish market structure in this entire push down. Also, if we look at our volume here, we do have some pretty big spikes, increases in volume as we continue to dump to the downside here. So I would say it is more likely that this is an impulsive move to the downside now. We cannot say that this was going to be our A, B, C, and then you get your move up. Obviously, that's been invalidated now, and now we could say this is a 1, 2, 3. Maybe we're going to get a fourth wave move, even to backtest that value area high before seeing a fifth move to the downside, finishing this impulse. But then after this impulse finishes, you would expect a bigger 3-wave corrective move up, might come up and double top these highs before seeing the giant explosive third wave. And remember, we're looking for this overall impulse. So we're on the 1 hour time frame right now. We're in the first leg of our bigger impulse that could take out 60K lows. So in order to see that, let me just go to the Coinbase chart real quick. And we're going to zoom out onto our 4 hour chart. We want to see a big 5-wave impulse coming in here. So like maybe a wave 1 coming down, taking out these internal lows, or even coming down to value area low. A wave 2 generally retraces up near the golden pocket area. Wave 3 could come down all the way to take out your 60K lows, seeing that SFP of the 60K lows, just to see a wave 4 that brings us to like kind of backtest this prior area of support and your pitchfork, but the bottom of your pitchfork, before seeing that fifth and final wave to the downside, coming to our key $57,000 to $58,000 support, where then now On the higher time frames, we would expect, let me just go to the 12-hour, we would expect this larger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be finished, and on the weekly time frame, we would expect this larger 1, 2, 3, 4 extended fifth wave to be finished. And so if we do make another new low below 60K, that low could be one of the biggest swing long opportunities of this year of 2026. So I am very, very bullish on seeing a multi-$1,000 move once we take out 60K. But this price action here does look to be a bit impulsive so far. And even in our first wave of the impulse down, our first leg of this 5-wave move, it does not look like it's done yet, guys. It doesn't look like it's done. So, because the internal count within your first wave, you're still looking for a 5-wave move. Then you're looking for a 3-wave corrective move. Then you're looking for another 5-wave move in your wave 3. Then you're looking for a 3-wave move. And then you're looking for another 5-wave move within your wave 5. So we have to be aware, and knowing that we're going into the weekend, yes, could we range, or could we, come down, make one more new low over the weekend, kind of see that wave 4 retrace and a wave 5 come down over the weekend, and then the first leg of our impulse is finished on Monday. Maybe we get a bit of a relief on Monday to come up to our golden pocket area by Wednesday, and then on Wednesday we might see that big crash coming in. Now, that's all speculation, and time is really hard to speculate on, guys. To know exactly time-wise, you can predict using trend-based Fibonacci time, but for the most part, it's very, very hard to look at time as a guide for that stuff. And yes, you can look at fractals as well, but let me check the chat here real quick. We're going to go into this low time frame descending channel. We are seeing this parallel channel, not that one. Let me just throw that on the chart here. I had that marked out on the chart. So if we take the two lows, connect them to that high, you can see we are kind of chopping within this channel. Now on Solana, I'm also looking at Solana as well. Solana kind of had this channel right now. It's starting to break out of that channel. Solana did come down to a pretty key support, but it front ran it just by cents. Look at this, 83.64, 83.61. And real quickly here on Solana, it's a key daily level in confluence with our golden pocket. So, Solana seeing a bounce, a really nice bounce right now. Could we see a bounce on Bitcoin coming soon? Also, Ethereum. Ethereum is at its point of control golden pocket. Very key support. Could we see a bounce to backtest the VWAP? Yeah, we could. So, or maybe we're going to reject from the bottom of this pitchfork band at 1990. But going back to Bitcoin here. We are starting to see that chop with bull divs. Anytime you see these descending channels starting to form with some bull divs on the chart, you do need to start looking for a little bit of a relief rally. So you can see here, bull divs throughout the day developing. Now your money flow doesn't look the best on Market Cypher B. It's starting to roll out again on the 12-minute. But if we look at NAMI, which is a much faster indicator for confirming those bull divs, a nice triple drive of bull divs, and money flow's been nicely curving to the upside, just crossing into the green right now. And on the money flow, we do have bull divs on the money flow as well on NAMI. So very nice confirmation here. The only thing what I like to see for my prime setup with both NAMI and Market Cypher B combined is I like to see Market Cypher B with the momentum bull divs. I like to see the money flow bottoming out and starting to curve to the upside. And then on NAMI, I like to see money flow bull divs and momentum bull divs. So we pretty much have that set up. The only thing that's putting a little bit of a wrench into that is the money flow just recently started coming down on Market Cypher B. So could we get another low, or could we get, a drop to backtest our golden pocket or our channel midline before seeing a potential break out of this? Yes, we could. The big thing for me is Coinbase is the exchange that I watch for volume levels. It's one of the largest spot exchanges in the world, and we are below the POC on the Coinbase chart. On all the other charts, we are pretty much at the POC. This low that we made at 67.8 is pretty much the POC on other charts. But I just have to give my bias to the Coinbase chart. And earlier today, we lost that POC. We back tested it, rejected, so I was expecting a new move down, and we did get that new move down. And if we can continue to see this bearish market structure, we really don't see strength until that bearish market structure shows some sort of break. So yeah, if you're going to try to snipe the absolute low, you know, you got in there, you sniped the absolute low, good, but be aware that this could keep continuing to grind to form some more drives of bull div until we get down. Now we are bouncing also kind of from that daily level. We had a daily level at 63 100-ish, I think it was. Let's see, I think I deleted it. No, 68.3, excuse me. 68.3, but even now, if we look on the 15-minute chart, we were holding that 68.3 daily level, bounce, we lose it, and now we're kind of back testing it as resistance on local timeframes. And you can see we're not really even able to close 15-minute candles above it. We closed one, but then we're just losing it right away now. So the daily level is starting to break to the downside, and that is not good in my opinion. As far as our impulse to the downside from the highs, from our 74K highs, if we look at our trend-based Fibonacci extinction, from the highs of wave 1 to the lows of wave 1 to the highs of wave 2, we have broken the 1.618 Fibonacci extinction target. You can see we did see some little bounce at that target. That was also the bottom of our pitchfork band, but we rejected the value area high because we had fallen back inside the volume profile. So yes, we attempted to get a bounce from the 1.618 and the Fibonacci, the pitchfork band, the bottom of the pitchfork band, but rejecting right here on low time frames, rejecting the value area high here should have told us we were at least expecting a low below this local low here. But now it was also saying, hey guys, we're finding reacceptance back within the volume profile, expect a drop to POC. And we did get that drop to POC. We're chopping through the POC on Coinbase. I mean, it is a bit messy because the other exchanges, we are at the POC. And I do have to say Bybit is a major exchange. The second exchange, if I have to look at another exchange, it's Bybit USD chart. And if we look at Bybit USD chart, we're just now kind of tapping into that POC, starting to hold it. And also, if we pull a golden pocket from the lows, the last kind of big lows in that double 1-2. Okay, wait. So 786 is right here, but there was a golden pocket as well. Let me see. Was that from these lows here? Golden pocket. Yeah, right around there, that golden pocket. Let me make sure that's on there. And then what we could be looking, though, because this entire structure could be a contracting diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but overlap in between everything. So contracting diagonal, you want to really pull the golden pocket. Your proper golden pocket that we would bounce from is from the low of the structure to the high of the structure. So that Saturday low, in other words. And you can see that Saturday low coming in at 67.2 to about 66.850. It would be nice because we would be seeing the liquidity grab of this internal low into this golden pocket. And other than that, there's really not a lot of support below us, guys. We do not have a lot of support below us. Let me go back to our Coinbase chart. We are coming up to hit that 2.618 Fibonacci extinction target, but we haven't hit it yet at 67,650-ish, let's say. And if we do come down there, it would be maybe another SFP of this internal low today into that 2.618, and that is a nice Fibonacci extinction target for your third wave, for this big third wave to the downside. Instead of bouncing from the 1.618, maybe we're going to bounce from the 2.618, or you get that wick past it to hit the larger golden pocket. So let's pull that larger golden pocket. Let me just zoom out to the hourly chart. Yeah, so 67,250-ish. You can see that golden pocket is a little bit below this 2.618, but we could wick past that 2.618 to hit the golden pocket and to grab this internal liquidity here, right down into this golden pocket. The bigger, even you know, you can pull many golden pockets. You can pull it even from the range lows, 60K range lows up to your 74K highs. I also like this golden pocket because you can see it's at your value area low. And we also do have a daily that's close by that. So the major support that we would have, I would say, our more major support level to the downside is going to be in this general zone here. 65,771 is a daily, but more importantly, if you want to snipe that, coming down and sweeping this liquidity trail, you can see all these higher lows that were formed in here. And if we do continue down, sweeping all of that, coming into that, reclaiming, and then we could see a move up. That would be pretty aggressive, though, to come all the way down to $65,000 in this move right here would be pretty aggressive, but I wouldn't be surprised. Remember the last time we broke down on that larger 98K rejection, we saw a pretty, after a small bounce here, we saw a really aggressive wave 3 that extended far more than the 2.618. So let me actually turn off these levels and we'll look at that. So if we look at our wave 1, our wave 2, and then we pull that trend-based Fibonacci extinction going from wave 1, which was actually here because that's a running flat, to our wave 2, you can see we even surpassed the 2.618 Fibonacci extinction on this big drop here. So you do see times where you will see that intense volatility kick in, especially when there's geopolitical fear in the world, things like that happening. A lot of local levels, but here's the thing, guys. This liquidity trail here, all of this, if we start to sweep into this, we could literally cascade through all of it. Boom, 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 and cascade through all of it, and even maybe come down to take out your 62K lows. I don't think it's going to get that aggressive right now or over the weekend, even though last weekend we did have some volatility and because of geopolitical events. I don't know if it's going to get that aggressive to the downside just yet. But we do have to be aware that at least we're back inside of our volume profile. And if we do lose the POC, which on Coinbase we are, you expect to move to value area low. And with our larger range golden pocket being at that value area low, I would have to say that's a pretty key level of support to expect a little local bounce. If we look at our naked dailies within this zone here, we don't have many naked daily points of control on the chart. What's going on here? There we go. So you can see we don't have any naked dailies within this liquidity trail to stop us, because those, remember, in sideways ranges, the important things to look at are liquidity first and foremost and volume levels. So value area high, POC, value area low are important volume levels, volume nodes. But within this move up, there is no naked daily POCs in here. So that would be nice if we did have a naked daily POC. You might see a small bounce from that. There is none. So, and knowing that this liquidity trail can really cause a cascade here, we have to be careful. If we start falling and taking out some of these lows, we could really see a pretty aggressive move down here. I wouldn't be trying to catch any knives because we know that this 3-wave corrective move could be done. And remember, when this 3-wave corrective move ended, your initial drop dropped you straight to the value area low. After falling back inside the volume profile, you drop straight to the value area low. So we just ended this initial move. Could we drop straight to value area low? Absolutely we could, guys. See that bounce from value area low, maybe a corrective move to backtest the pitchfork band before seeing the big wave 3 come in, you know, seeing some 3, 4, 5s come in. One thing I want to highlight to you guys, if we go on to our liquidation heat map and we look at the past month of price action, which is pretty much the length of this range that we've been in, this sideways range has been going on about a month. And we look at our Model 2 heat map, you can see here, coming down to $54,000 is really the big support where that liquidity is. If we pull this back a little bit and look at some of our smaller liquidity pools, let's go to like 0.5. You can see also around that, you know, 56,000, 55, 56. I mean, we do have some liquidity that's resting up below all of these lows. Once again, that liquidity trail, you can see low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. All of this liquidity, you would get swept into this little bunch of liquidity. But the major liquidity below us is really coming down to the 50s, like the low $50,000 area. And if we look at 54,000 is that first big liquidity pool. If we put this heat map back to the highest setting it can go to, and you look down here, coming down to pretty much 54,000, like 53.8, 54,000. And where is our big, if we look at our multi-cycle pitchfork, not this guy, let's see here. Where's it at? Here. If we look at this multi-cycle pitchfork, sorry, I'm trying to find the right chart. Let's zoom out to the daily. Now, yes, 57, 56 is going to be a key level. That's this pitchfork here. First of all, guys, super high respect in all of 2025. So the next major level for this pitchfork is the midline, which is coming in, depending on how quick we get down there, around $57,000, which we know is a very key support level. But the bigger pitchfork that I was wanting to show you guys is this guy here. So this is our multi-cycle pitchfork. And let me just hide these Elliott wave counts real quick. Oops. $54,000 is coming down, $54,000 is coming down to the bottom of this pitchfork. And our all-time high was a perfect rejection of the midline. We kind of created this distribution range trying to break above your midline. We also had a distribution range above the midline that broke down at the beginning of 2025. If we do come down and we look at also this big range, because remember, we have our 2024 range, we have our 2025 range, but now that we have found reacceptance for the past month back within your 2024 range, you can combine the two ranges and look at it as one bigger range. And if we turn on that bigger range and we look at that bigger range, where is your value area low of that bigger range? Right at the bottom of the pitchfork, where that key liquidity is resting. So 57, 58,000 is a key support level, a very key support level, naked monthly, naked weekly point of control, a couple daily levels in there. But you could break through it depending on how aggressive this gets here. We could break down to value area low here. And if we look at this big range, combining the two, the 2024 and 2025 range, right now we have rejected, let me zoom into the 4-hour chart. We have rejected the anchored VWAP and we're coming down and we're testing the POC of that big range right now of the last 2 years pretty much. You can see we're back testing that POC as we speak of the macro range. So could we see a bounce from here? We are seeing some local bull divs. Could we make a small bounce because we're looking at that very 1, 2, 3? Could we make a small bounce up to VWAP and then see kind of a double bottom in here over the weekend? Seeing that 5-wave impulse finish before getting a nice move up to golden pocket, which is also where the value area high of this range would be, before seeing that flush down to sweep all of this together and then get another bigger wave 4 before seeing a wave 5 either to 57 or 54,000. Yes, it's possible. Let me check the chat here. You guys, thank you so much for being here with me on a Friday. Remember, we were expecting this, guys. We were expecting that we could see some sort of range. I've had that fractal on the chart for at least 2 weeks now, that coming up to the 0.5 Fibonacci. And remember, we were looking from our start of wave 3, where that running flat ended, to the end of wave 3. And if we look at our wave 4 targets, now here's the thing, on non-log scale, we didn't quite hit this 0.5 Fibonacci, but this is a 33% drop to the downside. So I did put it on log scales, kind of right in that zone where I'm going to pay attention to both the log and non-log targets. But look at where we rejected. Look at that 0.5 Fibonacci rejection right there. Just a little bit of a wick past the 0.5 in the anchored VWAP, but you rejected that perfectly. And in a wave 4 corrective move, came up to the 382, rejected the 382, kind of got that retracement for a couple weeks. Then we kind of come up to the 0.5, reject that, and now are we about to see that big flush to the downside? I have to say, on the daily time frame, our money flow on Market Cypher B is now starting to leave aggressively again. And if we have another big kind of bearish engulfing candle like we're seeing here, this money flow is going to start to curve out even harder. On NAMI, we're probably going to start to cross into the red here. We're getting the red dot printed on NAMI. It didn't print on Market Cypher B, but the momentum wave did top out and is starting to turn to the downside here. And so, yeah, it could get pretty aggressive here, guys, to the downside. It could get pretty aggressive, especially with the geopolitical uncertainty happening in the world right now, everything going on like that. All right, weekly green dot versus daily red dot. Who wins? Well, first of all, we have the weekly green dot, Samuel 44, but it's not the end of the week yet. It's Friday. That weekly green dot could unconfirm by Sunday. If we do continue to dump here, that weekly green dot could not actually confirm, because remember, it doesn't confirm till market close on Sunday. Yeah, we'll have to see, man. But that is interesting. You're still in your XRP short. Awesome, man. We'll check out XRP in just a second. G Safe 77, but it's yeah, nice, man. I would be looking at this local support level here down below us, around 133 to 132.5, because you would sweep that liquidity trail as well. You can see all these kind of higher lows in here that you would sweep into your value area low, I believe it was. But that, yeah, actually you're at value area low right now. Depending on how you pull this range, you could add this little bit to that range if you really wanted to. And that's where that value area low comes in. Yeah, either way, I would be definitely paying attention if you look at your golden pocket. But you're below your POC, and even if we pull this range back to the lows, you're kind of below the POC and back testing it right now on low time frames. You're kind of bouncing from value area low, but back testing that POC. Money flow does not look good here. Just on the 4 hour, just freshly crossing into the red on both NAMI and Market Cipher B. No bull divs in sight on the 4 hour chart. I shorted 70,900, still in. Awesome, Warthog Thunderbolt. Stay in it, man. Stay in it until you get a sign of strength. Now, could we come up to $70,000, guys? Yes, we could. The value area high, we could, because, we've fallen back inside the volume profile, but we have not. If we do bounce from the POC, let's go to Bybit chart. If we do bounce from the POC here, you absolutely could come back up to value area high for the bearish backtest before seeing that rejection. And if we're looking at this as a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, which is going to end here, then you can pull your wave 4 targets from the highs of 3 to the lows of 3. And we want to put on those 382 to 0.5 Fibonacci. And you can see that value area high is just there. But on Coinbase, once again, I like Coinbase volume levels better if the value area high is $300 lower. So if we pull that wave 4 target on Coinbase, you can see the 382 is right near that value area high. And in a wave 4, that 382, especially in an aggressive trend, is a pretty common rejection zone. So could we see a rejection from this general area? And that's if we're not done dumping right now. We do not have confirmation. Look at on the hourly chart, money flow looks pretty bearish still on Market Cipher B. Even on the 15-minute, it's starting to curve out again here. And on NAMI, it's starting to curve out here again. We want to see this, some sort of break in market structure. I want to see this descending channel break. If we can even break locally market structure and then get a retrace to golden pocket, that's when we could look for a long here, right in here. Unless you absolutely caught the long. I think it was Not Quicker that caught the long, or Quality Crypto, one of the two that caught the long at the very bottom. Each time we come back into the zone from a breakout, it's bearish. Absolutely. And exactly. We've come back into our fair value zone. So it is bearish. It's becoming very hard to short these days with so much market manipulation. No price action followed. From every level, they just push the price back up in one single candle right after the fall. Well, you are going to get those small ebbs and flows, and there's squeezes. Actually, before I go into the chat, I want to show you guys the order flow because I pointed this out earlier today in the Telegram. We could continue to see a pretty aggressive long squeeze to the downside here, guys, because here we are on the 15-minute chart. And if we look at pretty much right here, this is when we fell back inside the value area high. Remember, right here was the back test of the value area high. But let's say the value area high was at 70,300 on Bybit right there, right? Going to Bybit. Right here, see this right here where we fell back inside, bounced, back tested. So if we go to our here, fell back inside, bounced, back tested, rejected. But right when we were back testing that value area high, we saw a lot from right here. So let me throw a vertical line on the chart. Where are you? Right here. And we'll throw it right here, right where the CVD starts to go up. That was right in this area. So first off, we saw some fresh longs coming in, right? We saw And the longs did push us up to backtest the value area high, but you can see right here, longs were coming in and they were fresh long positions. So we saw fresh longs, even though we were re-entering back inside of our volume profile. We backtested the value area high and rejected, yet we continued to see longs stepping in. And look at very aggressive longs. Pretty much all the positions were longs positions. So what happens? Once you start to break down past those prior lows, you start to get the squeeze. And that's why our open interest started dropping here, or our CVD started dropping, because a stop out of a long is a market sell. And that's why your open interest is dropping here too, because we're starting to see a long squeeze now. All those longs that are trapped above us, we're starting to see that squeeze happen. And so could we see this continue to squeeze until our open interest gets all the way back down here? Could we continue to see this kind of drop here until we get all the way back down, continuing to kind of long squeeze to the downside? We could continue to grind within this channel and see these micro long squeezes, intraday long squeezes, until we kind of flush out all those longs that entered. Another thing to look at is we are starting to see the exhaustion. So we are starting to see some signs of relief. And also long squeezes are not as strong as if it was fresh market shorts shorting the market. Like if it was this and this, I would get concerned, because that means bears are in control. Bears are shorting, pushing the price down, and they're in control. But right now it's just late longers getting wrecked. And so our volume is starting to decrease here on this channel, which is exactly what you want to see. This is selling exhaustion starting. Selling is starting to weaken. Volume is decreasing, and it's long squeezes. So that does say that we could be getting ready for a decent bounce soon. Where it gets a little bit confusing and muddy is the different points of controls. Point of control here, and then on Coinbase, point of control is up here. And for me, I like those Coinbase points of controls. The one thing I would say is, what's most important, guys? Let's go back to our fundamentals of range trading. What's the most important things in range trading? Liquidity and volume. Where's the liquidity resting below us? It's pretty close to us, right? It's pretty close to us. Could we continue to kind of grind within this channel structure until we come down and sweep 67,370? Sure. And then we could get that real nice kind of push up here to sweep all the liquidity trail of this channel that would form. But once again, on Coinbase, because our POC is above us, if we continue down grinding within this channel to sweep those 67.3 lows, you know, maybe we continue to kind of grind down here, sweep those lows into the bottom of the channel. You get that short squeeze, come up here just to take the liquidity of these internal highs in your wave 4 before seeing a wave 5 to the downside over the weekend. And that would form this sideways range over the weekend. Okay, let me check the chat here. So you were getting very bullish at the highs. No, I wasn't getting bullish. First of all, if you go watch that video, I said this is the first time where we could have a bullish breakout. We have a sign of a bullish breakout because we had a valid impulsive structure. But if you also listen to that video, I still said, guys, I think that we are going to, the higher probability is that this is the 3-wave structure that is going to break down. But because as traders, we have to keep both scenarios in mind. You can't get stuck in a bearish or bullish bias only. And with this being a potential double 1-2 impulse and your third wave shooting up, if we would bounce, and I made clarifications for being bullish. I said, if we see a 3-wave corrective move down and bounce before seeing overlap here, then yes, I'm going to be bullish for coming up to potentially 78K. But if we don't, if we start to hit the invalidation, or even start to fall back inside your range, especially, then you are looking at this most likely being the corrective structure. But the entire range, I've been very clear that I'm more likely that this is a corrective structure that could bring us up to that 0.5 Fibonacci before seeing that drop to the downside. And I've been showing that same fractal for weeks on my charts, how we have that corrective structure that looks very similar to that 80 to 98K corrective structure. And I do expect our lows to come in. You know, I've been expecting this fifth wave to the downside for quite some time. Now, has it extended longer than I thought? Yes, absolutely. It's extended longer than I thought. But not necessarily bullish at the highs. What it was is we had finally a bullish count that you cannot, until it's technically invalidated, you have to keep, if you're a trader, a balanced trader, not getting into one bearish or bullish bias, you have to keep it in mind. There could have been continuation there. The bulls had their chance, and they kind of failed there. So, yeah. I mean, I was looking for shorts up here, right? I wasn't looking for longs up here. I was looking for shorts up here. Okay. I'm going in hard on spot on the next major move down. Yeah, after we take out 60K lows, quality crypto, I plan to buy some more spot too. Link, yeah, Link is Machi HK, welcome in, man. Chainlink short is probably printing pretty good. Yeah, I mean, dude, that was a nice short right up there. SFP of the range highs. You're falling. Now you're also losing that pitchfork again. You could, once again, look at the liquidity trails that are being created, guys. You could sweep all of these super quickly here. So just be aware of that. Now, yes, could you see bounces along the way before sweeping? Sure. Is the weekly green dot confirmed not or yet? No, Peter, the weekly green dot will not be confirmed until Sunday. Market close on Sunday. Enter the largest short of your life at 73.5. Awesome, Lost X. That's great, man. Now, are you planning to hold that to sub 60K is what I would ask you. Cause, personally, if I had entered that short, I would be at least holding some of it. You know, you take TPs along the way and compound along the way. So like if we do come down to value area low, I would probably TP some at that value area low in larger golden pocket. Maybe TP 50% of it, wait for the bounce, and then I would compound it on the bounce to bring down as well. That's just how I like to do it. You know, some people like to hold it all the way until their target. MindTaps3, welcome in, man. Good to see you in here. I'm doing really well. And happy Friday to you as well. Had to stay humble in the market today. Yeah, you know, so here's the thing. When you're seeing pretty aggressive move to the downside, like yesterday during the live stream, we were in this chop. And remember how boring that chop was? But we were seeing bearish CVD divergences, and I just did not like what we were seeing. And I wanted to enter a scalp long, but I didn't. We had front run that key liquidity grab at 70,592. We were chopping in here during the stream. And I was just being patient and waiting. Now, afterwards, after I ended the stream a couple hours later, we finally got that liquidity grab, and I re-entered the short, the long upon getting back above the value area low at like, I think I got into the value, I got in right around 70,800. It was like 70,000, yeah, around $70,800. But I took some profit at the value area high, moved my stop to break even, and then it dumped on me. I was expecting to sweep all of these highs here. But when we started chopping up here, it was like, oh, great. You know, I'm going to take some right now because it was also kind of that descending channel that we were in. It was the highs of the descending channel that we were in. So this small descending channel, highs of descending channel, losing value area high. You drop to the bottom, you take out the low again. But when we failed this liquidity grab after breaking down here and failing the liquidity grab, now you're like, okay, you did very, very slightly front run the prior highs. Actually did, let's see here, the prior highs. Yeah, you tapped them. I think you front ran them on Bybit. But you see you tap those highs. That's your invalidation. Now there's overlap. Even though it's just barely tapping it, and you did get a nice move off that tap of the prior highs, but still maintained bearish market structure, right? You're still maintaining lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and then you get your nice big breakdown today. So we also have to be aware of this happening, this channel of lower lows and lower highs happening right here as well, right? Because we saw the big breakdown. Then you started kind of grinding sideways, and you expect when you start grinding sideways that you could get some sort of relief to sweep this channel, but we didn't. We broke it down. So now could we see as well, we're starting to get some grindy structure here. And yes, this is a steeper channel that's happening right now. Could we continue to, instead of you know, kind of grinding here and then sweeping all the highs before dropping? Could we continue to grind in this channel and then dump just like yesterday? We could. The thing is, the low time frame bull divs that we're seeing, they do look nice, but our intermediate time frame and high time frame is not looking good. So intermediate money flow really kind of looking bearish. Do you have some bull divs on NAMI on the 1 hour? Yes, you do have slight bull divs on the 1 hour, and your money flow is starting to curve up. I would like to see Market Cypher's money flow look a little bit better, or actually bounce from a key support level. Now you are bouncing from that 786 Fibonacci and your POC on the other exchanges. Let's see. Let's go from, I believe it was, yeah, so see, you're bouncing from your 786 Fibonacci here, which is also the POC of that Bybit range. You're not really seeing any. It's a squeeze. It's a little bit of a squeeze. That's all. So we're not really seeing any real buyers come in here. Normal Swede, what's up, man? What about the previous weekend highs? Every weekend has put in highs. This weekend different. Yeah, that has been interesting, huh, Normal Swede? In this entire range for the entire month, right here, weekend high, weekend high, weekend high, and then last weekend, we actually put in a weekend low here. So, but remember, it's not just weekend highs, it's also weekend lows that we need to pay attention to. Swing highs and swing lows, if they happen on weekends, that's not good. This happened here. Well, it was pretty much, yeah, look at very late Friday night, pretty much Saturday morning, right? Depending on where you're at, but it was after market close on Friday. So technically while the markets were closed throughout the weekend. These highs were weekend highs. They eventually got all swept because weekend highs usually don't stay intact. Market makers usually kind of correct that. We have a weekend low down here, and it's at the bottom of this entire liquidity trail. If we start to fall inside this liquidity trail, you could see a sweep pretty aggressively. Maybe a bounce here, then continue to sweep it. So yeah, I mean, we have to be aware of that weekend low from last weekend. Time is never invalidation. Yeah, time is never invalidation, but it does change the probabilities very highly. Like if you have, for instance, in an impulse to the downside, you have a wave 1 and you have a wave 2, and now your wave 2 is going on like 6 times longer than your wave 1. You would have to say, whoa, wait, this is not lining up as far as time-wise goes, and it makes it less probable that this move up is connected to this move down because of time. It makes it less probable. You want to really see it happen, especially your wave 2s tend to be sharp corrections that are 2 to 3 times the length of wave 1 at the most. Time Attack, welcome in, man. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you for modding for me, and thank you for everything you do, dude. You need to review your journal and start digging into that data. Oh, okay, behaves. Yep, okay. Little Rich, welcome in as well. Weekends are getting wild and then retraced by Monday. It's like weekends, the kids are running free without the parents. Well, and part of the reason the weekends have been going crazy is because we know that in politics, sometimes they wait to do these geopolitical news, like the things that are happening geopolitically. They do them on the weekends when it will have less of an impact on the markets because markets are closed. But we know crypto markets never close. So that's why we can have volatility with crypto on the weekends when we see these geopolitical events happening. Mark, you were watching my video and you saw that I was going live. Well, thank you for joining live, man. And Overcome 70, welcome in. Liam, you said, quick question, Divine. Do you ever scale into positions or add once you are comfortably in a position? I always worry I'm just going to ruin my entry. So scaling in, I rarely do. Rarely do. If we have a zone, for instance, like, where was it? On AVAX at the very big high that we had way up at $36. I did scale in up here because I was so confident that we were going to get a rejection from this area, at least a scalp short opportunity up from this area here. Remember, that was our swing failure pattern, point of control, naked weekly, point of control, weekly, daily, golden pocket, pitchfork band. I mean, it was so much up here. So I started scaling in when we hit the golden pocket, and then we saw an initial dump. I did not scale out. I put my TP above the box. And so I did TP1 once we started retracing here, but then I rescaled back in on the SFP here, and then it dumped. Now, unfortunately, I was not expecting October 10th to happen, so I had a limit order for 75% TP at this pitchfork midline. And then I didn't have a TP for the rest of it, and so we bounced back up the very next day. When we were bouncing super strong like this, I was like, okay, I'm just going to close it. I'm happy with the profit I made. But for as far as compounding, like you're adding, do you ever compound the trade too? Once you're in a position, like, so what I do compound quite a bit, actually. So what we can see here, like if you enter a short position, I entered at 90 on this trade, for example, I missed the short from 98 exactly. But remember, we got that golden pocket rejection at 97.6K. Let me go on to the 1 hour chart and we'll go back to that level. So right up here at 98K, I did not catch this high. I was not trying to catch a knife up here. We were kind of trying to break above that anchored VWAP. And so, and then we got our first break in market structure. So I waited for a break in market structure. We broke market structure bearishly by taking out that low, right? So now, because we broke market structure bearishly, now we have a chance to make a lower high before making another lower low. So then I pulled my golden pocket. Where's your most common area to reject on a lower high? From your golden pocket. And I scaled in here. And I entered at this golden pocket. I let you guys know that in the Discord. But I was still uncertain that we were going to get the big drop because this had been pretty straight up and aggressive here. And so I remember I TP'd at the value area low of the range. I think we were pulling, I TP'd some right here at this area. And then, because that was the value area high of that 98K range. You can see that was the value area high. But I also TP'd some down up here. But then when we fell back inside, remember I re-added to that short right in here at $90,700. I re-added to that short, and then I took profit at $87,500. When we hit, actually, yeah, I added to it right here. I took profit at $87,500. Then I added to it more. I think it was in this general area. So I have done that. I absolutely will do that, you know. I'll take 50%, move my stop to break even, and then if we get a bounce and are rejecting from a lower high resistance, I will re-add back in. And yes, it is going to lower your entry, but you got to make, you know, you still can move your stop loss to break even if you lower your entry. Yeah, we're starting to reject that channel, guys. Let's see if we continue to kind of bleed out here. I don't like the way 12-minute money flow looks pretty bearish. We are printing a hidden bear div on NAMI. NAMI's about to cross back into the red. Let's see if we at least come down for some sort of double bottom. We can pull. Well, we still haven't broken market structure bullishly. So we got to be, I got to be careful here. Tony CC, welcome in, man. All is well. Good to see you in here. I tried to pull the fib extinction of this in theory. Wave 5, 1.618 is at 38.1. And 2 is 32.5. Wow. Okay, wait. So, Mike HK, you're pulling a trend-based Fibonacci extinction. So, if we're looking at the bigger daily dump, and let me go to a cleaner chart. If we're looking at that bigger daily dump. Oh, by the way, guys, that descending channel we were in, we broke out of it, rejected from VWAP, and we're coming back down to back test it. So, this is, I'll go into this in just a second after we talk about Mach HK's fifth wave target. If we're looking at this as a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5 that's not done yet, but he's looking for the extinction of this wave 5. You can pull your Fibonacci retracement from the lows of the wave 4 to the highs of the wave 4, and you want to put on those wave 5 targets, which are between the 1.382 and the 1.618. So fifth wave targets. 1.236 and the 1.618. So we could crash all the way to 51K. And that, but seeing this 57K target at the 1.236, knowing we have a lot of confluence there, that would be a really nice target for me. And that would finish this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember, your fourth wave rejected from that 0.5 Fibonacci. But the larger move, I think if you're saying all of this is a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then you're looking for the 5th wave here, well, we would still pull from your wave 4, you would still pull from the low to the high. Now, if you're looking at a trend-based Fibonacci extinction, you don't necessarily, because in a 3rd wave, you would pull that trend-based Fibonacci extinction from the highs of wave 1 to the lows of wave 1 to the highs of wave 2, and that's where your 3rd wave target should end. And this impulse still isn't finished. So yeah, could we drop in this 3rd wave all the way to 47K? Man, that would be pretty aggressive, because this, remember, this 1, 2, 3, 4, does this 5th wave come all the way down? I don't think so. And then you would expect a big retrace before seeing a 5th wave maybe into the 30s. So MachHK, you'd have to post in the Discord for me. If you you have my Discord DM, so if you post that, I'll look at that, because I'm not exactly sure what you're looking at there. Hi, bro, can you check ETH? Yes, we'll check ETH. We'll check some of these. Let me go real quick into Bitcoin here. So guys, we were looking at in the first half of this month channel, this descending channel in the first half of this month-long range. This descending channel here, remember, we bounced from the bottom of the channel. This was also our key 786 zone in here. Came up to the top, rejected the top, but we, rejected here, bounced from the midline, and then broke out of it. We're pretty much coming back down to backtest that channel now and seeing coming a little bit lower. When you break out of a channel, sometimes, oops, sorry, this one. When you come out of a channel, you break out, you reject from a resistance, especially after taking the highs of that channel, sweeping all of this liquidity. You can come back down to test the scene of the crime. If you bounce there, you could get, technically, you could get another move to take the highs out. But knowing that we're falling back inside the volume profile, I wouldn't expect it. But that's why coming just a little bit lower to take those lows into the bottom of the channel could give us a nice little bounce. For the wave 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 5 takes out this guy. Ethereum is rejecting. So let me go on to the daily time frame real quick. I've been talking about the chop that we see in these pitchfork bands. And if you look here, where did we reject at? We did wick past it to grab the liquidity of the highs. Remember, these were semi-equal highs pretty much at 2150. Semi-equal highs. So we broke above it to take that liquidity, but our daily candle body could not break above our pitchfork band. And this pitchfork has been really highly respected. Rejected the top of the pitchfork in distribution, bounced on October 10th from the bottom of the upper band, and then for the rest of the month, we were kind of using daily candle closes at the top of the pitchfork band. But then when you lost it, you backtest it bearishly, you reject, you come down to your midline. Midline held, you get new highs, right? Midline holds here, you get new highs. Midline holds here, you get new highs, or you get a bounce here. You get new highs here. And then we did bounce a 3rd time from that midline, but you made a lower high. That was that flat, running flat. And then you drop all the way through the band in the lower part. And now we've been back testing the upper part of the band as resistance. Resistance, 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 resistance. Now we are coming down to the bottom of that band. So if we look here, let me just get rid of that real quick. We rejected the top of the band. We're at the bottom of the band, but that also happens to be, now I do expect that this is going to break down and come down to the bottom of the pitchfork. And that's where our 4-year long range POC is. Between like 1600 and 1575 is the bottom of our point of controls at like 1570 of a 4-year long range. But if we go on to the 2-hour chart and we look at this last month range, this last month of price action here on Ethereum, and let's pull that volume profile. You can see we're at the POC right now. And also it is our golden pocket as well from the Saturday lows, those weekend lows to the highs. Golden pocket is here as well. So it is definitely a nice little level where we can bounce from. At the beginning of the stream, I said, let's see if we can break above 1990 where the pitchfork band is. Because if we can, we have a high likelihood to come up to POC. And we are starting to break above, or we're starting to test that pitchfork band. So we want to get back above this. Very similarly, we have this liquidity trail in here where if we start to break into it, if we start to lose this golden pocket, we could absolutely sweep all that to value area low to take out this low here. The one thing from Saturday is you have a lot of overlap, right? 1, 2, 1, 2. There's a lot of overlap in these. Your third wave, say this was your third wave. You had a couple 1-2s. That was your third wave. Well, you had an overlap even on Tuesday's live stream. I covered this. There was already overlap between the highs and the lows. So this was more likely to be a corrective move. I said that on Tuesday's stream. And now we're dumping. We're back inside of our volume profile. Could we bounce from here? Absolutely, because it is a nice little support zone. But I wouldn't expect much. At the most, I would expect a back test to the value area high before continuing down to value area low or continuing down to sweep all of this. But overall, this range, I expect us to come down to our next major support level below. And if we look here, let's go to the daily time frame. You know, we did reject the top of the pitchfork very nicely, and this is a bullish structure pitchfork. But if we look at our major 4-year long range, point of control of that 4-year long range, and look at when we lost the pitchfork band, we back tested the value area high in the pitchfork and we rejected. So now we're likely, when you reestablish price action back inside your value area, you're likely to fall to the POC. Once again, this is a bit muddy because if we go to Bybit's chart, this is on the Coinbase chart. If we go to Bybit's chart and we look at that same 4-year long range, I guess it is, yeah. So your point of control is at your weekly level around the 1580. It's a little bit higher, $10 higher or so. But look at how nice this rejected, right? The value area high on your Bybit chart is, remember on Coinbase, it's up here. It was on this rejection up here. Right up here at like 3,600. On Bybit, look at, you still lost it. Back tested, rejected, you get the big drop. So now we're expecting to come down to POC. We are ranging at the bottom of this bullish pitchfork. This is the same this pitchfork is pulled from the bear market lows to your initial correction highs in December of 2024. Remember, that was pretty much a double top. You SFP'd this high just by barely. And then you dropped all the way down to value area low. You bounced from value area low. You get a move up to take the all-time highs. You take the all-time highs. And now we're inside the volume profile. So we'd expect that move down. So I am expecting a breakdown of this pitchfork, and I'm expecting a quick breakdown to come to POC. I hope it holds. I plan to buy some more spot here. I plan to buy more spot at 1575 to 1600. But we are chopping at the bottom of this. It's holding so far. In your bullish case scenario, you could see a breakout up to the top of the pitchfork band, but we wanted to see continuation on Tuesday. I think that was Monday or Tuesday. You wanted to see this continue to push up here and see some sort of like 1, 2, 3. And you could still be in a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then get a 3 in here. But I don't like how we're falling back inside of our volume profile here. And also, if we're looking from the lows here, it's just really disgusting the way we see this choppy, overlappy, because your lows here, you have a wave 1. This does look impulsive. Your wave 2 did kind of retrace pretty deep. You retrace to the 886 Fibonacci, which is very uncommon, but it's not invalidation. And then in your wave 3, you would have wanted to see, even if the wave 3 was going to be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, making this be a 1, 2. Your third was a double 1, 2, 4, 5, 4, 5. Or excuse me, you'd only get 1, 4, 5, 4, 5 here. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you didn't see it. We failed. We broke back in the range. We just took out the liquidity of the range highs and fell right back inside. An aggressive move back inside. Once again, you're at local support. It's the point of control of your month-long range. It's your golden pocket from the weekend lows, pulled to the highs, and it's the bottom of your pitchfork band. So could you get a bounce here? Sure. Could we grind a little bit lower to hit to take some of this liquidity first? Yes, you could as well. But now that we're back inside the volume profile, I'm really watching for the back test of the VWAP. And if we reject that VWAP, I would expect us to continue pushing down here. We did have some nice bull divs. You can see here, kind of wonky bull divs on Market Cypher, but multiple drives of bull div on NAMI, and the money flows nicely curving up, crossing into the green here. Let's go to our 30-minute chart. Yeah, 30-minute bull divs, money flows crossing up, but I wouldn't expect too much from this bounce because we don't even have 1 hour bull divs. NAMI does, but not kind of these wonky ones. NAMI does, but Market Cypher B, money flow still looks pretty aggressively bearish. And these wonky bear divs or bull divs, it's just, I would expect a small move up, maybe to fill some of this fair value gap that was created, or even to just take out the local highs of this sideways range, maybe to come up and take out these highs. Oops. Before falling over. Remember yesterday, by the way, guys, yesterday we were looking at Ethereum. And we were looking for Ethereum to come take out this high. During the live stream, we were right in here. And we were looking for Ethereum to break above this high to take the liquidity. And we say, hey, that's your first bullish break in market structure. Because you got that, could you make a higher low and then a higher high? We didn't end up doing that. We just ended up grinding sideways. But what happened yesterday after seeing that little grind? You got a small bounce to take out your local small intraday range highs. This was an intraday range that was forming. We have something very similar right now, an intraday range with that descending channel that was forming. So could we bounce up just to take out the highs at 1997 and then dump? Yes, we could. But you are kind of at a nice support level. You don't, Bitcoin's bull divs look a lot better than Ethereum's. Okay, and then as far as support levels on Ethereum go, bigger support levels, let's turn on our dailies. I know, let me just come in here. Yeah, so you don't have any fresh dailies within this level, within this range here. And I believe you only have that naked daily, yeah, at 1897 here. So it would sweep this entire liquidity pool, which would be nice to see. So you can see here, all of this is likely to get swept together. So if we lose this POC and golden pocket, we're likely to kind of come down and sweep all of that into your naked daily point of control, and then probably see you'd want to see the value area low. You probably want to see an hourly candle come down to the naked daily, but the hourly candle body to close at or above the value area low. And then also at 1913, we do have some support at 1913 as well. Well, okay, and then we were in this ascending channel. It's breaking down. So could we sweep those pivots? Yep, we sure could. And then I was looking at one more thing. I know there was, yeah, we did come straight up to that 1.236 Fibonacci extinction. A, B, maybe a contracting diagonal and a C, right? Impulse in an A, correction in a B, and then a contracting diagonal in a C wave, which is a motive wave, coming right into your target. And now could we fall back down and take all of this? Because your target would be to take out this low. Okay, that was our smaller parallel channel. We're at the bottom of the channel as well. That was based off of these two lows and then this high. So you can see we broke out of it, tried to backtest it, but made a higher low, fell back inside. So you do have some pretty nice confluence down here where we're at right now. And then this was the descending channel that we broke out of. This one wasn't quite as respected as Bitcoin's. Why is that still on there? Yeah, and so at 1913, that liquidity grab there, and then if we pull our golden pocket from the lows to the highs, all right, I guess that's a bit. Oh, I think it was the range lows. Going from the range lows to the highs. Yeah, you can see 1917, 1913. Golden pocket into value area low. And if you came down to that naked daily, you would sweep all of at least this bit of liquidity into your naked daily, into your golden pocket, and then hopefully close the hourly candle at or above the value area low. So this box of support is a support level that I'd be interested in at least looking for some sort of scalp long opportunity. But you're at golden pocket right now. Let's see what happens here. Okay, have we covered Sol? No, we'll cover Sol. Oh, thank you, R Pink. Guys, let me cover really quickly the partners of the channel. So the main partner of the channel is BYDFI. They are a VPN and KYC free exchange. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. If you do sign up using my affiliate link in the description below, you can get a minimum of 20% discounts on trading fees, and you can actually earn up to 40% if you deposit some large amounts into the exchange. They're offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses, depending on how much volume you trade in the futures markets. And they have some of the best initial deposit bonuses in the entire industry. So if you deposit $100, you can get a 50% deposit bonus on that. They're offering 20% deposit bonuses up to $1,000 and 10% deposit bonuses up to $20,000. So guys, if you deposit $20,000, you can get $2,000 free as a bonus there. Some of the best initial deposits I've seen of any exchange in the entire industry. I've also partnered with BYDFI to create that Telegram community where I try to keep you guys updated on what I'm thinking on Bitcoin, on the altcoins. I let you guys know if I'm entering a trade on Bitcoin, altcoins. It's free to get into. If you're interested, it is a private community, but all you need to do is sign up with BYDFI using my affiliate link and then deposit the minimum deposit of $100 or more. And once you do that, you'll be qualified to get in. Click the Telegram link in the description of the video. And once you're in that Telegram Verify channel, type in /verify in your user ID, and that'll get you into the Telegram. So /verify in your BYDFI user ID. And once you're in, you're in. Second partner of the channel is NAMI. This bottom indicator here, it's a momentum and money flow indicator. It prints out the bull divs, the hidden bull divs, the bear divs, the hidden bear divs for you if you're not good at seeing those with your naked eye. And I use it for confirmations on trades. Like as we're coming down to support, I want to see some bull divs on the chart or I'm not going to take any trade. It's helped me maximize my profits by far. Without using these two indicators here, I would not have near as good confirmation to stay out of bad trades or to get into the good ones. So for me, it paid for itself almost immediately for me. If you're interested, I have partnered with NAMI to get you guys 50% off. So if you do click the affiliate link in the description and then in the promotion code, type in Divine50, you can get 50% off that. And I've also been talking to the creator of NAMI. There is going to be some exciting new things coming for NAMI soon. And I don't know if there's going to be a price increase with it, but I'm telling you, this could really revolutionize some of this stuff for NAMI that's coming relatively soon too. So exciting new developments coming for NAMI. Then we have Blowfin. Blowfin is the second non-KYC partner of the channel. I wanted to give you guys two options for KYC and two options for non-KYC. Blowfin is offering VIP 1 for 30 days. And if you deposit just $5, you can get a $10 voucher. That's only for the first 300 users. And they're offering some really good initial deposit bonuses as well. 10% on $1,000. So if you're interested in signing up with Blowfin, it's a really reputable exchange. Great order books. They show proof of reserves, all that. Links in the description below for them. And then next I have the two KYC exchanges are Bybit and MEXC. I've been using MEXC for over 6 years. Never had a problem with them personally myself. Really great exchange. They're offering a 10% initial deposit bonus up to $1,000. and Bybit is offering up to $30,000 in futures trading bonuses. So thank you. And Rpink posted all those in the chat. Rpink, thank you so much for always doing that, man. You're always on top of it. And I appreciate you so much. Okay, let's get back to the chat and to the trading. Yeah, Nami's getting update soon. Yes, Nami, I don't know if I can spill it. Like I would let you guys know. It sounds like Machi, you know what he's talking about. But it's really gonna help, especially with scalping and day traders. Dude, I can't wait for it to because they've been doing some testing on it and it's gonna significantly improve some things. Solana might be good for shorting out. Yeah, let's look. Oh, Sudeep. Welcome in, Sudeep. Guys, also, please hit the like button. If you got any sort of insight into the market from this live stream, please hit the like button for me. Let's go into Solana really quickly here, and let me get a drink of water. Okay, so Solana is, well, like I said, 30 minutes ago, we were in this descending channel. We came down to our golden pocket in our daily level of support. At least on Coinbase, we barely front run it. Look at the lows at 83.64 and the golden pocket's at 83.62 and the daily's at 83.61. Let me check on this exchange. Let's check Binance real quick. I just want to, oh, actually, that's an old daily level. I'm sorry. That shouldn't have even been there. But your golden pocket is still there. And yeah, you front ran the golden pocket still too, it looks like. Yeah, front run a golden pocket as well. I need to clean this guy off the chart. Yeah, okay, so there's no fresh dailies within this range here. And naked daily points of control within this range. We really don't have any until we come down to like $78, $78.33. But I would look for, very similar to a lot of these coins, we have that liquidity trail from like kind of the weekend of the beginning of the week shop. All of this here is kind of begging to be taken. If you start to really break into it, you could see that aggressive squeeze down to break through all of it and take it. So I would be looking for a breakdown of all of this into that value area low. As far as shorts go, is there a good short? Right now, we're above the POC. Could we flip it to support locally and come up to VWAP? Yes, we could. So I wouldn't be shorting right now per se. And if you start to lose the POC and like back test it, like if we bounced from the golden pocket because we front ran it, bounce from the golden pocket, come up and you do start to get that rejection there, but you are at golden pocket support, so you want to be careful shorting into a golden pocket support level. That's not like the best practice. And then if we take from those, so this is from the weekend lows, this golden pocket, but if we take a golden pocket from the besides the wick on that Thursday, the lows of the range, I like this golden pocket a little bit better because you can see we would sweep pretty much this liquidity, $82, around $82. You could sweep that liquidity trail into this golden pocket. And yeah, 786 is not the best confluence there. But unfortunately, guys, with the way that this was created, this entire structure of the week was created, you've left a lot of liquidity trails where you can start to, you know, kind of wipe them all together pretty quickly. The initial pivot into the golden pocket would definitely be of interest to me. Maybe we get that, you know, today or over the weekend, we kind of grind down, get that. We get a small push up on Monday. So that is the level I would be. Let's just set an alert on this. At 82.50 or 82.47. And once again, with the impulse to the downside, wave 1, wave 2, your wave 3, we've already passed the 1.618, so it's very unlikely to be a corrective structure because you passed the 1.618, which is kind of a max target in an expanded correction. If this was an A, B, C, sometimes the C does come down, rarely to the 1.618, but it's if you pass that 1.618, it's very unlikely to be a correction. It's very much more likely to be impulsive. Looks like actually right now we're back testing that 1.618 as resistance. So yeah, 82.5 is where I would look for the next potential bounce on this thing. But we did finally break market structure bullishly on the local timeframes, 15-minute time frame. By breaking this high right here, we have broken market structure bullishly. We do have some nice bull divs on the chart. Bull divs on the chart. Money flow curving up nicely on Market Cipher B, and NAMI is in the green. And I don't... The problem is there's not much in here, guys. There's not much in here besides the golden pocket that was just below us. So, and this golden pocket's actually a better golden pocket because you would sweep the liquidity. Now, on the higher time frames on Ethereum, Ethereum did see, first of all, on that initial move up, we saw a 3-wave corrective move. We swept the range highs. And remember, Bitcoin didn't, Ethereum didn't. We got that initial sweep of the range highs. 3-wave corrective move. 3-wave corrective move. And then in your last one, contracting diagonal. So W, X, contracting diagonal, and a wave Y. Are we about to see that dump continue? Actually, in a wave Y, you're looking for a 3-wave zigzag too as well. A contracting diagonal is a motive wave structure. So we would have to say it's an ABC. So here's your ABC here. Another 3-wave ABC. And then in the Y wave, A, B, and then you'd be looking at this as a contracting diagonal and a wave C to finish it. Because your A wave and your C wave are impulsive structures, motive wave structures. But either way, this high could have been a major high before continuation to the downside. You're falling back inside your volume profile, obviously, and moving down to the value area low. If we lose this POC, maybe we get a bounce here just to come up. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, come down to value area low, and 5 for your first leg of a bigger. Then you get a retrace up to maybe golden pocket value area high before seeing 3, and then a 4, and then a 5 to overall get that taking out the lows here. Now at, I believe it was $57 to $55, we have some pretty nice support. Yeah, we have a weekly, a daily down there. Let me zoom out. So one of the things, let me turn off all these levels to clean up this chart. One of the things that we could be looking at from this high up here at 251 is our last big impulse down. And we do have a lot of chop and overlap here, right? 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's your big 3 here. Then this is a 4. And here is a 5. And then we need another 4. And then we need another 5. Because you have 2 1 2s up here, you need 2 4 5s. Now, your 4 5s are a lot bigger in length, but that's somewhat, you know, the time-wise, like this was only, 11 days or so. And then this range was at least 6 times as long, which is not a hard invalidation, but it was 5 times as long, 4.5, 5 times as long. So it is getting a little stretched as far as time goes, but it's not a hard invalidation. And then if we look at this internal 2, 15 and pretty much, 15 and a half days. And yeah, so that's not bad. That's only like twice the length of it. But once again, you had your upper range. Remember, we were looking for potential accumulation here. If Jaw Feels in here, we were analyzing this range quite a while a few months ago. The range between the point of control and the value area low. And we were looking for potential tap 1, tap 2 down here, and maybe a tap 3 before seeing a breakup. But unfortunately, what it was is redistribution, right? You had kind of distribution up here, fell down, redistribution, fell down. So we broke that 2-year long range volume profile, this upper range. We broke the value area low, ended up breaking with volume to the downside. And honestly, on Solana, there is not much below us. And remember, on the weekly time frame, first of all, let me zoom out to the weekly. I also warned of this. On the weekly time frame, we had what looked like up here a tap 1, a tap 2, a tap 3, a distribution, a weekly distribution range that if we were going to go into a bear market, we would expect this to break down. And we did see that breakdown. We had, as the range was forming, higher highs, lower highs. You get your lower high with another lower high trigger wave. And the important thing is money flow was draining as the range was forming. And you can see just as soon as we crossed into the red on the weekly, that is when we got our big rejection from the POC. So when you see a range forming like this with bear divs between tap 1 and tap 2, and then you see money flow draining out between tap 2 and tap 3, it is far more likely to be a distribution range. And we drop to the downside. So on the weekly time frame, could we come all the way back down to your golden pocket at $31 to $28? It's also a very important support resistance flip for the history of Solana. That an aggressive bear market, I do think we could come down there. The scary thing about Solana is there is not a lot in here to keep us, from falling, especially if we lose like the $51 area, $55, $51 area. There is nothing in here that is going to really hold us up. So we would really want to hold like that weekly we have at 57. We have a weekly at 57. We have a daily in there. And then if we look at our, actually, let me just do this. Naked monthly points of controls. I don't know if I have any marked out down that low because I don't think the PVP indicator goes. Okay, we do have one. Yeah, we bounced from one on that crash, and then we have that one at $58, 57. So remember, 57 is a big level, guys. Where I would expect some sort of bounce in that general area, 57, 58. Because naked monthly point of control, we have a weekly right on top of that. And then we have a daily just below or squished in between the two. So that's your next major zone of support. And if this doesn't hold, man, you could flush all the way down. Unfortunately. And then from the overall premise of things, we are looking at on the weekly time frame. You could be looking at, when you see distribution, generally this leg down tends to be a third wave. So you have your wave 1, your wave 2, your big third wave, and then you get kind of that 4 and the 5 to end it. And that, then you get that nice big move up to golden pocket or what, or even continuation to new all-time highs, depending on, where we're at in the cycle. So but as far as low time frame trading goes, you're still in this range. This did look like a W, an X, and a Y here. And now are we about to take out that low and potentially even come down as low as that $58 mark? For now, I would be for longs, I'm not really interested in where we're at now. We did front run that very local golden pocket. Yes, you are kind of chopping around the POC, but we're going into the weekend, and we often see chop in and through the POC throughout the weekend. So if we did come down here and grab that liquidity into this golden pocket as we're making some bull divs throughout the weekend, I would look for a long. For now, I'm not interested in anything. And then as far as shorts go on Solana, let me go to the daily. Yeah, you do have that daily level at 90.87, but I wouldn't think we're going to come up that high. We can pull our targets. Let's say that the end of 3 is in yeah, I mean, just coming down there would be the most practical thing. But let's say that 3 is in, then we're pulling our wave 4 targets, and we're looking between the 0.5 and the 382. So I would really be looking at kind of this zone in here, because as long as you don't hit the golden pocket, you haven't invalidated the impulse. But you can wick above the 0.5 and not hit the golden pocket. So we could wick up to hit the value area high. And once again, it would be your bearish backtest, right? You come back inside the range, you bounce from the POC, bearish backtest to value area high. If you reject, you expect to come down to value area low, or, you know, at least some internal support here. It would be a little bit nicer to drop to this golden pocket first and grab this liquidity. Continue to see this push down until we grab that liquidity. Okay, let me get into the chat here. I think we might see low 30s for Solana. Yeah, I think it's possible, Mike HK. I do think it's possible, especially with the way we pushed up. There's a quick move up means quick move down, right? So there's not a lot of support in there. Do you have any way of thinking for wave 5 or 3? Because when we are 74K, people always expect another 4 or 5 before going down, because at the time it is impulsive. Same as here. Yeah, so I think I get what you're trying to say, Christoph. If you're looking, I see what you mean. Like, how do you know if this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to get that 4, 5, or you're going to see it as a 3-wave corrective move and then come back up? Well, generally you want to look. So if you're seeing a 3-wave corrective move, you can pull what's called your trend-based Fibonacci extinction, and you'll go from the lows to the highs to the lows here. And if it's a 3-wave move, most common, it ends between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. Now, if you start to break past that with increasing volume, you know it's likely to be a 3rd wave. Your 3rd wave will often bring you to at least the 1.618, but sometimes further. Like right now on Solana, we're almost to the 2.618. And as you're breaking up, you look at your volume, and volume is increasing as we're pushing up here, right? Now, it is a bit confusing because in ABC, a 3-wave corrective move, often this C wave right here is an impulse, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 within itself, and it ends on a high amount in volume. But on a normal bigger impulse, let's say it was a normal bigger impulse like this, being a 1, 2, you get your big 3rd wave, 4, 5. That last 5th wave, you see, as far as volume goes, you would see volume increasing during the 3rd wave, right? Increasing a lot during the 3rd wave. You would see volume decreasing during the 4th wave, that corrective move, it's decreasing. And then during the 5th wave, even though you're breaking higher than your 3rd wave highs, volume is still decreasing here. So your spike in volume is in the 3rd wave. And then you kind of see volume decreasing during 4 and 5. And then like you said at 90, let's see here. Yeah, and at 74K, okay, so your example there, let's go to the 4-hour chart. Let's go to Bitcoin. At that 74K high, the reason why we were still expecting some sort of impulse, because technically it hadn't been broken yet. Let me get to a clean chart, right? So you have your 1, 2, 1, 2, and you have this gap here between the highs and, you know, whatever retracement. You finally create a gap because in here there's overlap. So you can't say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, you in a contracting diagonal, you can. And generally your fifth wave does end on a pretty nice spike in volume. But that's the only motive wave where there's overlap, a contracting diagonal. But in this, so the reason why we were still suspecting that this could be a third wave and that we could get some 4-5s was because the nice increase in volume we saw in this move up. So if we look at our volume here, you come in here, you turn on your volume, you can see as we were spiking up, really within this move here, volume was the highest and it was spiking up here. And so that was an example that, hey, man, maybe this is going to be an impulse and maybe we are going to continue in 4-5s, keep pushing higher. We were also breaking out of the value area high and closing the daily level above the value area high, which was a bullish sign. So there's reasons to look, but between 3s and 1s, I mean, trend-based Fibonacci extinction is probably your best target. You know, if we look at this trend-based Fibonacci extinction, and here's the thing, in a double 1-2 impulse, if this is going to be a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3, here you want to pull that initial from your primary 1 to the lows of your primary 2. So you're pulling that trend-based Fibonacci extinction off your primary 1-2. We did come right up to that 1.618, and that's one of the reasons why I was saying, okay, we rejected straight from the target. Could we get a move down and a push back up, and then another move down and another push back up? Because so it was a possibility. Now, some people will do this. They'll pull it from the initial wave 1 highs to the wave 2 lows. And 75,142 was also a pretty key level. That's the non-log 0.5 Fibonacci. If we look at that move down from your wave 3. Wait, am I pulling it the right spot? Yes. No, I'm not. It's up here. Sorry. So there was some confluence as far as Elliott wave analysis in confluence with Fibonacci's go. That's why I wasn't necessarily bullish at the top. I was saying that there is a possibility for it because of the way that we broke up here. But I definitely wasn't looking for longs at the top. Maybe scalps. Like we were looking for a scalp off that SFP yesterday. But it was only if and only if we saw the SFP, right? Let's see here. Or in theory, after price reached 74K, then it retraced below the wave 1 high. Then the base case for being a 5 wave move is invalidated. Yes. Yep. So here's the thing with an impulse. 1, 2, your 2 generally retraces to the golden pocket. You get your big third wave, which pushes to the 1.618 Fibonacci extinction or higher. Your wave 4, you do not want to see overlap between your wave 1 highs and your wave 4 lows. You want to see a gap in here. And then you get your 5. And your wave 4 targets are between the 382 and the 0.5. And then your wave 5 targets are between the 1.236 and the 1.618 Fibonacci retracement expansion levels pulled from the low highs of 4 to the lows of 4. Yeah, and C does end on a high amount volume if it's an ABC. We can draw fib extinction from 63K bottom to 68.2K wave 1, and wave 2 target is at 65K. Okay, wait, from 63K. So I'm assuming you mean this 62.5. To 68K highs. 68.2K highs. Let's see. I'm not sure which highs you're talking about. These ones? Oh, I think I know what you're... Okay, hold on. You're talking about the weekend. Yeah. That's what I was saying. This is your 1.618. Yep. That's your primary wave one. So that's how you would want to pull that trend-based Fibonacci extinction. That extinction target. Okay. Bearish March, April. Bearish March, bullish April into June. Yeah, and Bitcoin's history, we've only had one time where there's 6 monthly red candles in a row. We've already had 5, and March generally can be a bullish month for Bitcoin. But I think it was Mach HK that said on Tuesday, usually like the first week to 2 weeks of March is bullish, and then you end up crashing the second half of March. Sol bouncing at the anchored VWAP from the $68 low. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. I want to throw that on the chart. Yeah, anchored VWAP. Now, I will say this, though. The one thing about this anchored VWAP is there's a lot of chop through it. A lot of chop through it. But yes, it could hold, like, on these last 2 lows, we kind of got wicks through it, but it did hold overall. So could we wick through it to hit this golden pocket, but hold it overall on the daily time frame? Sure. Or on the 4-hour time frame, sorry, not the daily. Man, yeah, your money flow's starting to curl over here on Market Cipher. I want to go to that 8-hour chart. The 8 hour is a really good intermediate time frame to look at. Money flow leaving into the red again pretty aggressively, and it's been draining on NAMI here. Oof, man. To me, I think we're going to drop a little bit lower on Solana. I would like to see at least some sort of bounce from this 82.5, maybe even just a bounce up to 85. But depending on how we can still, that's still a valid scalp, right? So say we come down, SFP, soon as you reclaim, maybe we're going to SFP into the 6.5. As soon as you reclaim, you can enter long. And then say we just come up to hit that point of control and reject. Your scalp long, you're going to take upon the reclaim. Your stop is going to go below the low. And your target is just the POC. That's still almost a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio scalp long position. I mean, that is a valid scalp long trade. And you can even leave some of it open in case you come up to value area high from there. But even on the bounce here, the SFP bounce, golden pocket, just up to backtest POC before rejecting. Still a valid scalp long opportunity. And that's why yesterday, yeah, we were looking, or on Tuesday, we were looking for longs, but it was scalp longs. Remember, we were very clear on scalp longs because we could see continuation in this area. We were looking for the scalp long of this low because we could have seen a 3-wave corrective move down and continuation. You could have got that to actually come up and hit the anchor VWAP. This front run, I did say it during the stream, it's really bad that we were front running the SFP and that it was more likely we would get a dump through. We did eventually get the dump through. We did close the 15-minute candle below it, but we did get a reaction afterwards. It wasn't much of a reaction. You still made a lower high overall. What's going on with Biddy now? All right, let me check the order flow here. Let me just refresh this. First week, yeah, okay. Ben Cohen has a video about it the last few days. Okay, interesting. Man. Yep, and see how our open interest is starting to drop now because we saw all those longs. So from this area right here, we started seeing longs entering. Look long positions entering. Fresh long positions entering in this area. So now they're starting to get squeezed out, but some of those early longers are still open. That's why the open interest is above it still. So could we continue to kind of grind down in this corrective channel until we kind of sweep all that, stop them all out? I don't know why. I mean, they're already underwater. They probably shouldn't have longed anyways, breaking back into the volume profile. But this is the thing. This is why I like Coinbase levels. We're below the POC and just starting to grind now. Let's see if we can sweep that 67,350 pivot. Money flow just looks really bearish still here, guys. So, of course, we're calming down. We're getting into the weekend price action now. I do really like that golden pocket value area low, and then your daily is just a couple $100 above that. 65,771. Yeah, I know that. We showed that at the beginning of the stream. The Bybit chart, the Binance chart, you're at the POC. Coinbase is below it. And that's where it muddies the waters a little bit. Even the index chart, the POC is right here. So yes, and you could get a bounce, but look at also the larger golden pocket of this entire move up. So if this was a finished contracting diagonal and it's breaking down, if you're going to get a higher low, it generally comes in around the golden pocket. So the thing is, pulled from the low, the Saturday lows to those highs that we saw on Wednesday, golden pocket is at 67.2 to 66.850, and sweeping this liquidity into that golden pocket would be really nice. Yes, I get that we were at the POC, but to see a little deviation and a breakdown to hit that and then reclaim it almost immediately would be kind of nice to see. Do I have that anchored VWAP pulled from these lows? Yeah, it's also the anchored VWAP from the lows, the 60K lows. So you do have some support where we're at now. Money flow just doesn't look the best. And on the lower time frames, you are starting to see those bull divs, but we're also, money flow is starting to roll out again on NAMI and Market Cipher B. It would be nicer to get a couple more, that grindy structure to last a little bit longer, to get that kind of one more low into that area, continue to form another drive of bull div, and then hopefully by then your money flow would be starting to really curve up here. And on NAMI as well, you want to see the money flow starting to curve up. How's the 5-minute look? Yeah, even on the 5-minute chart, you can see how money flow is kind of aggressively leaving on Market Cipher B, and even on NAMI, it's aggressively leaving. We could be forming some bull divs if we take out that low from earlier today. Hello, just joined. What do you think of SFP on the POC? This SFP right here, I mean, that's possible because we are developing those bull divs, but just a bit lower is the golden pocket and a bigger SFP. Like this just happened a couple hours ago. If we want to look at our liquidation heat map and we go to the model 2, let's go to the last 12 hours of price action because that just happened. There's not a lot of liquidity below that low. Let's check our model 1 here. Yeah, so some liquidity right at that low. I mean, it was already kind of tapped with that. If we look there, it was already kind of tapped with that low, but I would be looking to come down a little bit further. Wow. Okay. It's kind of crappy to not see much liquidity under there, but the big sweep of liquidity was this low yesterday, getting all that liquidity sweep. I wouldn't say it's strange that the 15-minute hasn't broken the POC yet. I mean, well, first of all, we're starting to break it now, but you get chop around the POC. It's the fair value. It's where the highest amount of volume is traded. So of course you're going to get some chop around the POC. Dad87, welcome in, man. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the kind comments as always. Really, really good to see you in here. I think we have whales absorbing all the longs now. Okay, let's check this. So from this low or this high, let's say, no, not because in bearish CVD divergences, you want to be making lower highs on price action and higher highs on CVD. And then generally for absorption, you want to see an increase. But look at, we just saw right now, fresh shorts come in. Fresh shorts come in on the breaking of the POC. A pretty nice amount of fresh shorts coming in on the break of that POC. Let's see if we get this SFP. I do not like the way money flow looks here. I do not like the way we're expanding here, invalidating some local bull divs on the 5-minute. 1 minute doesn't even have bull divs on this. I would be very careful here, guys. Money flow on the 1 minute looks pretty bad here. You're already starting to see a bounce before taking that liquidity. I would be very careful here if you're looking to SFP those intraday lows. What we could look at is connecting that descending channel and look at, if we continue down, SFP into your golden pocket. There's a couple channels we could pull. We could pull that one, or we could pull it from the actual highs to those lower highs. Yeah, bouncing from the midline. I mean, let's see. The other one. Yeah, this one does look like it's respected a little bit more as far as the midline goes. Okay, you're more inclined to close the short position at 50%. What I would do is I would close it if and only if you get the SFP, right? Because if you keep dumping, why would you close it until you get down to the next kind of support? But if you do SFP it and then start to get it back above it, yeah, then you're maybe closing $100 or $200 higher, but that's when I would close the short position. I like to do that on liquidity grabs. I like to wait, and I'll take the SFP if we get the, I'll take profit if we get the SFP. But if we don't get the SFP, I won't take any profit. Okay, how's ETH looking? Man, that rejection from the Pitchfork band on ETH. That's what it was, 1913. I kept thinking 1913 for something. ETH has the value area low at 1913. And I think ETH coming down to that level golden pocket, value area low, and then you'd even have that naked daily POC at like 1897. Because remember, if you attempt to break out of a volume profile, you get that kind of failed auction price action above it, and you fall back inside of it, you are likely to fill it in full. It's just sometimes you will bounce from the POC and make another run at the value area high before filling it. Solana, okay, Solana is losing the POC again after taking some liquidity of that local range high. But because Solana did break market structure bullishly, what I don't like here is, well, could we say that this was some sort of flat in here before now coming down? Yeah, you could, because if this is our 1, 2, and our 3 still continuing, within your 3, you're still looking for 5 waves. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, a flat and a 4, and then you would need a 5. That would finish your overall bigger third wave. Then you would look for a retrace to the 0.382 to the 0.5, which we could pull that. Now, this hasn't happened yet, so this is theoretical. But you would be looking for a retrace up to that area. After making one more low here, then you would look for a bigger retrace to the 382 or to that 0.5 before seeing that 5th final wave come. Bitcoin is kind of dumping here. Yeah, I don't like the way the money flow looks here. And you did front run that low. Quiles, welcome in, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you, my friend. Well, it's Friday just before stock exchange close. Yeah, so of course the slowdown's gonna make sense with us going into the weekend. Less volume here. But also, generally you do see once you get into these choppy overlapping structures here, that's selling exhaustion starting now. And of course, selling exhaustion would start when the markets are starting to close, right? Because you don't have as much traders trading. So we do see volume overall decreasing on this dump to the downside right now, or on this in this descending channel. So that's pretty nice to see there. And then if we're looking at our bigger impulse here in a 5-wave move, you want to look at volume increasing during the 3rd wave. So you have 1, 2, and all of this volume increasing. And generally we saw a nice spike in volume, but this here coming into that low is pretty nice to see. Man, you would kind of want to see it continuing locally here, I guess. Or maybe ending the 3rd wave on kind of a nice spike. No, actually, it does make sense that your spike in volume is going to be on the sub spike within the 3rd. So I'm hope I'm being clear on that. Because remember, if you're looking for this to be a 3rd wave, you're still looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 within the 3. So your spike in volume would end the 3 within the bigger 3. And then as you make new lows, you'd get some local decreasing volume. Man, look at this, guys. Printed another hidden bear div on that high. about an hour ago. Money flow just looks really bad here. How does the hourly look now? Yeah, I mean, I don't see any indications that we're going to hold this Bybit POC right now. I would like to come a little bit lower. Yeah, it's very messy to count. On the bigger structure, 1, 2, but this third wave, I mean, like this third wave, you could say what, 1, this is some sort of running flat again in a wave 2. You're in the third wave within your third. Maybe we're going to get a 4 and then a 5, something like that. That would end your third wave. And then over the weekend, we get some sort of retrace and a 4 before seeing a 5 at value area low. And then that would end. Oh, wait, no, that would end the whole thing. Yeah, that would end 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you're just chopping around the midline for a second. All right, is there anything else you guys want to look at before I take off for the weekend? The third way, yeah, open interest is spiking right just the last 15 minutes here. Actually, this is interesting. We are seeing some longs come in, but they didn't get the SFP. So if we see these longs now start to get squeezed, it's going to cause us to drop even more. But yeah, we were seeing open interest decrease for about the last 2 hours. 3 hours. Last 4 hours here. Open interest has been decreasing, but it was because we were starting that long squeeze. And right now, okay, on the 1 minute chart. So we did see some fresh shorts coming in on that break of the POC. And then now we're seeing some fresh longs come in. For the last 20 minutes, we're seeing longs coming in, fresh long positions coming in. So they're fighting around the POC. Of course, the Bears and the Bulls are fighting around the POC. Nothing too significant yet, though, guys. Okay, let's see here. Opening truths. Maybe silver. Yeah, okay, we can check silver. Can't wait to get some stupid news and a mega pump. Getting some mega pump. Yeah, maybe something like war related or something like that. Remember, overall on silver, guys, let me turn off the volume here. I am looking for this to be a bigger zigzag correction on the daily time frame or the, intermediate time frames. We got that nice initial 3-wave move down. Then we got the 3-wave move up. So now I'm looking for another potential 3-wave move down to take out those lows. Coming down to $58 is seriously such a key support level. We have so much support. That's your macro 382 Fibonacci, naked monthly, naked weekly point of control, a daily level, your 382. I mean, but overall, we want this kind of corrective range to last quite some time. And we did come up and reject from your golden pocket and the back test of the pitchfork here. We got to drop straight to your value area low. Could we bounce up to value area high? Maybe. But let me zoom out on this. Let's go to the 2-day time frame. We got that super nice impulse in play from these lows on March of 2020. Wave 1, wave 2, huge wave 3 came right up to the 2-to-1 Fibonacci extinction. And so we rejected and we broke some market structure bearishly. So now we're looking for a wave 4 retracement. And the targets for that wave 4 are between the 382 and the 0.5 Fibonacci, pulled from the lows of wave 3 to the highs of wave 3. That 382, and with this being so bullish and with gold and silver being so bullish, the 382 is probably going to get a strong bounce. So I have alerts set and I'm looking for swing longs around that 382. But on the so knowing that we're in a 4th wave, we want to see a bigger 3-wave corrective move down. And it actually could take quite some time because this took like what, 2 years? And you want your 4th wave, but there is a rule of alternation where if your 2nd wave takes a long time, sometimes your 4th wave is quick. And when I mean quick, I mean like 3 to 6 months instead of 2 years. So on silver, after coming up to your pitchfork band of resistance and your 2-to-1 Fibonacci you reject, you lose the pitchfork, you bearishly backtest the pitchfork and your golden pocket, and it was your 1-to-1 Fibonacci extinction as well. So if we look here, going from the lows to the highs to the higher lows, your 1-to-1 Fibonacci extinction, pretty much at $97, your golden pocket at $97, the backtest of your pitchfork at $97. We rejected there just earlier this week or last Friday. But the initial move down from that high at 120 was a very clear 3-wave corrective move. So now we can't say that this is the start of an impulse because it was a 3-wave corrective move. So it has to be a W. We got the 3-wave corrective move in an X coming right up to your golden pocket. So now we're looking for a 3-wave move down in a Y. And remember, this can get this 3-wave move down because look at the way your Y started. 3-wave move. So we could even get some sort of flat in here for ABC flat for your Y. But yeah, let's check our I know this is old, so I can get rid of this, but let's delete that. Man, okay, the low that we made on Tuesday actually did not hit the naked weekly point of control. It looks like it, but it was just short of it. Let's look at it on, sorry, the 4-hour chart. Did we hit it on the 4-hour? Nope. And I just want to check it on the 1-hour. Nope. Okay. So we do have a fresh naked weekly down there. Man, in the naked daily, the only naked daily we have is right up here at these highs pretty much. So a flat, we would be looking for some sort of flat in here. That would be pretty nice because we also did front run that 1-to-1 just barely. And your 0.65 golden pocket just barely. So we could see some sort of flat come in. The range that I'm watching, though, you could look at two ranges. So you could pull it from the highs and look at all the corrective price action, or you can look at this range pretty much in here. You're just chopping around the POC. We do have some bear divs on the chart. Very slightly, but higher highs, lower highs, money flows coming out. No 2-hour bear divs, but Nami actually has them. And we do have slight bear divs on the 4-hour as well. I think in the weekend, over the weekend, we're going to stay within this little zone. But because our initial move down here looks more three-wave corrective, we can't say that this is the start of the ABC. Because if it was, you know, you have your big W, X, and then if you're Y, generally in a Y, you see like an A, B, C. But within the Y, because this started as a three-wave move, maybe we're going to make a flat here. And then kind of start that push to the downside in your Y. Actually, we would have to say, you could see a WXY within the bigger Y. Kind of messy. Okay, wait. I'm watching 65,700 to retest the descending channel, hit the daily level and the value area low. 65,700. Yeah, that is a good level right around there. So you have a golden pocket right around there as well. You have your golden pocket at 67.2. You have that liquidity at 67.7. Let's see. Hit the daily level. Do we have a daily level there, though? Our daily, I thought, was at 68.7. Yeah, our daily level was up here at 68.3, excuse me. 68.3. Maybe you mean the daily lows. That's, yeah. What price do you think those new shorts will likely get liquidated at? Are you talking about the ones just like today during the stream? These new shorts that just came in, well, they would probably get liquidated if you start to break out. It depends on their volume. If you start to break above these range highs, you're probably going to start to squeeze them. Even these lower highs at like 68.5. We are seeing some long stepping in here. It's bad, though, that we're seeing long step in and you didn't actually get the SFP, guys. You didn't even get the SFP of the local low. If we start to break this descending channel, I would really be wary for just a sweep of the highs like we did on Ethereum yesterday. Just to fall back down. So if we start to break out of this channel, I would really expect to sweep up all of this to grab all of this high up here. But then I would really be looking for a potential move back down after that. Or instead of C, it's a Y wave. Yes. Yep. Yeah, we did front run it, so it's definitely going to be... Oh, wait. Lower the one we front ran. Okay. Yeah, this one. I get you. This one here is the one that I want to see us grab. Luciana, welcome in, man. We are bouncing 2 on BTC from the last weekly VWAP. I mean, there's a couple levels here. You have your anchored VWAP from the 60K lows here. It's your Bybit POC, your Binance POC. And if it's a weekly VWAP, then yeah, weekly VWAP's pretty strong level too. Wait. Weekly VWAP. Is up higher according to mine. Oh, cool. Match HK. Let me check that. All right. So let's see here. So from the all-time high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you're looking at that fifth wave going all the way down. But did you pull that 1.618? Did you pull that from like the highs of 4? Or excuse the yeah, the highs of 4 to the lows of 60K to the highs that we just created today? Is that how you pulled that 1.618? Because that is now, first of all, in an extended fifth wave, here, I'll bring that back up, but in an extended fifth wave, you can pull, if this is your 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your fifth wave here, your extended fifth wave, you can pull a trend-based Fibonacci extinction from the highs of 2 to the lows of 3 to the highs of 4, and you can look for that 1.618. Or it's generally as long as your third wave. You generally look at the 1-to-1 targets and the 1.236 targets. So we've already passed 123% of what the third wave was here. But you would want to look at max pulling from the highs of 3 to the lows of 3 to the highs of 4. That 1.618 would kind of be your max target for the fifth wave. Now, if you're looking for an extended fifth wave within the already extended fifth wave, because like this is our extended fifth wave, right? From 98K down. But if you're looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're looking for another extinction in here, I see what you mean. You're looking to pull it from, you would still pull it then from the highs of 3 to the lows of 3 to the highs of 4. And we want to look first at those 1-to-1 targets, 49K to 44K. And I see what you're saying with that 1.618. Is that blurry for you guys? I see you are looking for an extended fifth wave already within the extended fifth wave. Okay, I get what you're saying now here. I mean, it's always possible. That would be freaking crazy. But knowing that we have some major resistance, like, excuse me, major support, pitchforks support, I just, man, that would be such an aggressive breakdown. If anything, I think we could break down to that $54,000 level, right? Because that $54,000 level is the bottom of a very key value area low and pitchfork of our multi-cycle pitchfork. Another thing, if we're looking at our bigger flat in here, A, B flat came right up to the targets, and then your C wave, we could take that Fibonacci expansion targets from the lows of B to the highs of B, and we'll put on those expansion targets between the 1-to-1 and the 1.272, but really coming down to like the 1.382, you can sometimes come down there. So look at where we ended at that 1.272 for an expansion target. Let me just get rid of some of this low stuff here. So if this is, because remember we were looking at, and let me fix this. I hate how that's on there and that's on there. So if we're looking at that A, B flat, a C, the C did come down to the 1.272. Now the max target is in an expanded flat. You can come down to the 1.618, but it's very rare. But that would be where the anchored VWAP from the bear market lows on the Binance chart are. Now on Coinbase, it's up at 57. On Bybit, we've already touched it. I would also look at just your 1.382. So let's. Yeah, and see that $54,000 area, man. That they're starting to add up to a lot of confluence around that $54,000 area. Okay, let's see. What did you say here? Yep. Okay. Last weekly VWAP. Okay. I pull it in the internal 3. Yep. Okay. I think I figured out what you were doing there, Mach HK. It kind of fits my theory of going to GP of the whole cycle. Yeah. I mean, in the bear market, if we are going to get an aggressive bear market, that $34,000 golden pocket, you know, we have that golden pocket. So after any huge, let me just show you guys this again. The reason why I just am hesitant about it is we have this pitchfork has really been so great on the higher time frames. Let me go to the 3-day so we can zoom in a little bit here. This is a multi-cycle pitchfork pulled from the COVID lows to your 65K highs, which was the highs as far as volume goes on the market, volume and money flow, down to your bear market lows. And you can see how nice this pitchfork has been respected. Come down, come up, reject from the lower band, get a higher low at the golden pocket, come up to the top of the band, reject, you get that flat correction, you finally break above the band, you back test the band. Hold it, you come up to the midline. The midline was your 2024 all-time high. After rejecting from the midline in your 2024 all-time high, you grind down to the lower band, you back test it again. Then you now make another run to come up to try to break the midline. This time you break it, but just to form a distribution range above it, and then you distribute down below it. We did end this low in April at a very key internal pitchfork pulled from the lows of 3 to the highs of 3 to the lows of 4. You hit that lower band perfectly. If you want me to show you, I can show you right here. From the lows of 3 to the highs of 3 to the lows of 4, hit it perfectly, right? But then going back to this chart, after bouncing from your internal lower band here, reject $10,000 drop, then you start your distribution range at the midline again. You fall down. Unfortunately, with this range, we did front run the band. This range here, we front ran touching the band, but then you busted through it. And so now if we do continue, we're going to continue down to the bottom of the pitchfork. And because it's so highly respected, I would expect some sort of bounce from the bottom of here. But if we're looking at our Elliott wave theory on the weekly time frame, we have our 5-wave move up, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ended. And then we got our drop, our first. And the reason why I'm ending it here is because we finally got our first bearish break in weekly market structure, right? We came down, we broke the weekly lows on the weekly chart. Now, I know we're on the 3-day chart, but that's still a weekly break in market structure. So you broke market structure bearishly on high time frames, meaning that this major impulsive move could be done. Come down to 74K. Then we bounce directly up to our flat targets between the 1.236 and the 1.382. And it was a perfect rejection from the pitchfork midline again. And then we start to crash in your C wave. So if this is an ABC, your A wave is impulsive, your B wave is corrective. And by the way, this does look more corrective. It's a double zigzag here. And then your C wave is an impulse. And this is what we've been focusing on, this C wave here. And within that C wave, we're looking at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, extended fifth wave, which is not done yet because within the fifth wave, we still have one more low to be made, right? We have our 1, 2, 3, 4 could have just ended this week before seeing our fifth wave. So not only our next major low could be the end of this ABC flat, where after a flat, you can come up and take out the all-time highs and continue another high time frame impulse, maybe up into the 200,000s. You're ending the big C wave, the 5-wave impulse of the C wave, but you're also ending the fifth wave of this fifth wave. So the next major low we make, man, it could be incredible for a long position, for a swing long position. Now, is it going to drop straight to 32,000 in that? I mean, you know, there's always possibility, but I don't know if it's going to go that low. And part of the reason why I don't know if it's going to go that low is because in 2024, this was a reaccumulation range where a lot of the big guys were buying Bitcoin. They are going to try to defend their positions, macro overall, in this range. And yes, we're already kind of back within that range, obviously. We dropped to the value area low of that range just the other day, of the other month. But I guess, yeah, we're just going to have to kind of wait and see what happens here, huh? I know that we do have very scary bearish divergences on the chart. Very scary weekly bearish divergences. We have very scary, let me go to the weekly. Very scary from the 2024 all-time high to your January all-time high to the current all-time high. Bearish divergences, money flow draining out of the asset, just crossing into the red. And on NAMI, while we were forming this up here on the weekly time frame, triple drive of bear div, money flow bear div, and even going back to 2024, you have money flow bear divs. So very high time frame bearish divergences. Now, another thing that we're seeing here that's actually very bearish, guys. Let me get rid of that, and then let's go back to the weekly. We were setting up for weekly bull divs on Market Cipher B and on NAMI. We have now invalidated the bull divs because this momentum wave is lower than this momentum wave. So even if we get a green dot, great. Last time we got a green dot, we had 5, 6, 7 weeks of up, sideways and up. But we've invalidated the bull divs. On NAMI, we've invalidated the bull divs. Or maybe it's like equal lows. So, but if we continue to drop here to get new lows below 60K, it will invalidate the bull divs. So that was kind of really shitty to see that that happened. On the daily time frame, we still have the possibility for bull divs, but we have to take out the 60K lows. Money flow is very aggressively leaving the chart here. And all these nice bullish trigger waves that we see on NAMI, we got our first red dot and peak on that momentum wave. Even coming down, taking out the lows, let's say 57 or 54. Coming down here, you would still have nice bull divs here, and then you would have nice bull divs on the daily, but we need to take out 60K. And you want to see this money flow starting to bottom and around on a Market Cipher B. Did I take any trades, Sergio? Not yet. I'm looking to come a little bit lower on Bitcoin to that golden pocket that's below us. at 67 370 to like 67 200. That golden pocket, the SFP into the golden pocket. This SFP into the golden pocket. Because we're chopping in here, and I want to see a break in market structure before I attempt a long. Man, I can't believe we're getting that bounce right before taking those lows. We're coming up to the top of the channel, so let's see if we do get a rejection. Yeah, we did see longs coming in for the past half an hour. If we start to break the channel, guys, we could squeeze up to take out your 69K highs. Or whatever this is at, yeah, 69063. I think we break below 60K. If we are not stopping at 57K, we will likely go straight below 50K. At 55K, so you saw that we had this major pitchfork bottom at around 54K. Major pitchfork bottom. It's also the bottom of our bigger combined range. Not this one. This one. This guy here, our bigger combined range, 54K. But also we do have a fresh weekly level. Right around there. It's at 55K. 54,869. We have that weekly level there. So there is a nice little confluence of support around those mid 50s. But could we take out that low? Yes, absolutely. If we go to 50K, I think we're going to take out this low at 49. But look at how we have this nice confluence developing here around 54K. 55, 54K. Just to me, it looks like we would at least get some sort of reaction from this area. I'm sure if we zoom in on the daily and we come over here, yeah, there's also a daily level in here. No, actually, that's been taken. I should have it marked out, honestly. Oh, this is not my Coinbase chart. I keep all my object tree on my Coinbase chart. But yeah, I mean, to me, this is looking pretty juicy down here. And then, of course, our naked monthly point of control and our anchored VWAP. Now, on Binance, the anchored VWAP from the bear market lows is all the way down at like 41.5. But on Coinbase, that very, very key anchored VWAP from the bear market lows, which is kind of your last hope for the trend holding. That's your volume trend price. Like, if you want to see a strong bounce and a move up, you really need that anchored VWAP to hold. 57K. It's coming in around 57K. If we look at our naked monthly point of control, 58K. If we look at our naked weekly point of control, 58K, or like 57.9, let's say, 57.9. And then if we look at our weeklies, we have a weekly a little bit below that. And we have our two dailies in there, but I think one of those dailies has been tapped, actually. No, this daily is still fresh at 58K, 58,200. And then this daily is still fresh at 57,352. So I'm telling you, this box right here has a lot of confluence. And now now that our anchored VWAP's raising a little bit, I could move this up and shorten it a little bit. But yeah, I really do think this level is quite a strong level, guys, at 57. And then, of course, the 54K level is quite a strong level. On this pitchfork, 57K is your Pitchfork midline. So also of the highly, highly respected Pitchfork, 57K. I don't see us dumping straight through the 50s without anything. And sure, could we? We could, absolutely we could. We dumped through the 70K golden pocket like it was nothing. Remember we had our 70K to 68.5 golden pocket, our log golden pocket, and we dumped straight through it. And I bought some spot at 70K because I did think we were going to get that nice golden pocket, and that's got to be on log scale because it's more than a 100% move. But at this level right here, we had a lot of confluence for support. I really did think we were going to get a bounce. We dumped straight to 60K. Actually, very interesting that we're still chopping around inside that golden pocket. Anyways, you guys get the idea. Yeah, wow. It's interesting that we're seeing the low right now exactly at that 0.65 golden pocket. Even though we wicked through it, we kind of have been ranging, and this is a very high time frame golden pocket. So, of course, you can sometimes form a range in and around it. In your bullish scenario, remember, in your bullish scenario, the 60K lows could be the actual lows. It's unlikely to me. Like, I'm on my HK side that we are within an impulse and a C wave down here, and we need another low. But you do have a scenario with a WXY correction where WXY and Y ended right on your 1-to-1 trend-based Fibonacci extinction. And you could see even some sort of, WXY, and then like you would still look to take out the lows again within your Y wave, actually, because within your Y wave, you're looking for that 3-wave corrective move to finish the WXY, and then you would look for a nice move up. Divine, do you plan to take a long on a pullback if we pump above that 69K mark? That's a good question. Honestly, if we break above that 69K mark, that would be a bullish break in market structure, right? We would be breaking market structure bullishly. And yeah, I would consider taking a long because we would be getting above the POC on Coinbase. So I'm looking at this Coinbase POC. Actually, it's right around the top. So, but if we start to break market structure bullishly, that's what I look for, right? A bullish break in market structure. If we break that market structure bullishly, now all of a sudden you have a higher high. Now you could put in a higher low before continuing. And I would say only continuing up to the value area high. That's 69 to 70,000. But yes, I would consider it. Absolutely. I would want to see after the break in market structure, if we pull back to like the golden pocket area or even that daily again, it's been tapped and ran through today, but I would even consider longing that higher low. For sure. The reason I expect to pump to only get up to 59K is because based on historical price analysis, it's crucial we don't get above the prior low at 60K. You're talking about for like the full after the breakdown for the full bear market. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to go into the aggressive bear market like we did in 2021, you would probably expect to like, you oftentimes will break down, back test the prior lows and reject. Not gonna lie, Divine, 2 days ago, you were extremely bullish. No, go watch that video again. Lost X, you need to go watch that video again because I was not extremely bullish. I was saying the bullish possibility was coming up to 70 or 86K if the impulse played out. But I also said in that same exact video, in the same sentence, if we reject here, I expect us to continue to go lower to make new lows. You need to go watch that video, man. And I really laid out the only reason there was a bullish possibility was because of the double 1-2 impulse ended right at the 1.618. We could have got a pullback to the 0.5 Fibonacci. If we bounced, we could have expected new highs. So it was if this, then that, not like, oh, I'm bullish, I think we're going up. I did say for the first time in that video, there is a possibility that we're going to invalidate the wave 4. I said a possibility. I didn't say it was going to happen, but I also have been saying this whole month that this is likely to be a corrective range, just like this was likely to be a corrective range. And that I've been looking for this for quite some time. But I still don't think we're going to break down too much lower than 54K. Like it's either going to stop at 57 or I think it's going to stop around 54. I don't think we're going to break down too much lower because to see, and now Machi HK, I know what you were saying. You're looking for an extended fifth wave already within the extended fifth wave. That would be a very aggressive fifth wave to the downside from 98K all the way down to, I think you were, 41 to 36 or so. I mean, that's a very aggressive drop, a $60,000 drop in one move. It has happened in the past where we see 50, 60% drops straight down. First of all, Bitcoin is in a more mature cycle. It's in a more mature spot in its cycle. But we'll see, we'll see how it reacts. We got to see some bull divs down here. And we do have some very nice weekly and monthly bear divs. Okay, it's important that we realize the end of the range with an impulse above the range. Yeah, but this wasn't an impulse though. Lost X, this move up, because you could say, okay, the only way you could count that as an impulse is to finish it as a contracting diagonal. Because you have, if you're going to say this is a 1, 2, and this was a 3, first of all, your 3 didn't finish because you have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then now you've invalidated it. So you can't call that a 1, 2, 3. You could say maybe it's some sort of contracting diagonal that's still not done, by the way. We could say some sort of, but you're breaking that down because you could see a WX in a contracting diagonal here. Generally, contracting diagonal is known as a motive wave, so you don't want to see that in a Y. The one thing you would have to say there is it is a 3-wave move in a W, 3-wave move in an X, and then your Y wave is an A, B, and then you would get some sort of contracting diagonal in a C. But this is not a motive wave. This is not an impulsive wave. It was invalidated as that yesterday. All right, let's see if we can roll over here, guys. If we roll over here, I am expecting us. I would really like to come down to that 67.2-ish level. Crypto Wander 1, welcome in, man. Super late today. I hope everyone's having a great Friday. Yeah, man, it's been a, what's crazy is as soon as we start the stream, it slows down again. That's what happened to us yesterday. We had some very volatile price action, and then we started the stream here. And sure enough, today, very volatile price action, start the stream. And I think we started it like here. Okay. Jay Payton, welcome in. Thanks. I'm also looking at that 69K to change local market structure. What level are you looking for if we drop from where we are now? I'm looking at the golden pocket below us. So we have a golden pocket into this level here. 67. So it's pulled of this entire structure from our Saturday lows to our highs that we made. That golden pocket is coming in at 67.2 to 66.850. And we have that liquidity that is resting into that golden pocket. So to me, that anytime you see a liquidity grab into a golden pocket, it's a good setup, because with a liquidity grab, what you want to see is, let me get rid of this and let me hide this channel. You want to see the pierce of the level. And if you pierce it and actually hit the golden pocket, and that's a nice support, right? Golden pockets generally give you a bounce. And then you get back above it. That's your entry, right? You enter, you put your stop below wherever that wick was on the golden pocket. And you could look for a move up to the value area high. But I would have to pull, based off this being a potential more likely to be impulsive 1, 2, 3. I would also pull my Fibonacci targets of the wave 4. And I would strongly consider, like, see, if we came down and did that, your 0.5 Fibonacci would be at value area high. So that would be a strong confluence for a wave 4 rejection, right? And then you would see wave 4 and then a wave 5, and maybe wave 5 sweeps this low into the value area low. But all of this I would be expecting is the impulse of a much larger move down to take your 60K lows, to come down to 60, 57 or 54. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Sorry, I should have read there. Are you in a short? No, I was in a short, but I closed that short out. I'm not in any trades on Bitcoin. I am still short on Ethereum. I am still short on Solana. I'm short on gold. On gold, guys, I think I showed you guys this on Tuesday. I entered, I think it's at 51.84. I entered, and the PLC was a little bit higher. As this range is developed, the PLC's dropped a bit. But I entered a short at 51.84 once we started to reject this right here. And I have taken some profit on it, but I'm still in it, and I will look to compound it. I'm just generally waiting for, if this is going to be, you know, we saw that 3-wave move. Could we get a bigger 3-wave move? And if we do come up to value area high, I'll get stopped out and I'll look to re-enter up here. And then could we get that other next move down, showing that bigger 3-wave move down? And then I am, let me check my chart. Yeah, gold 51.84. Yeah, and I closed out my trade. So on Blowfin, I don't have any positions open. I was looking to enter a possible short on Solana at 85 earlier today, a scalp short. Hold on, where's Solana at? Because we were losing the POC, and luckily I was streaming while this happened, so I didn't even have time to look at it. But I was looking for, if we back test it here and reject, I was looking to come down to hit that 82.5 level. I will look for a long potentially off of this. Yeah, you can see I have an alert set at 82.5. If we come down, once again, an SFP into a golden pocket, and that would be kind of your wave 3. Okay, let's see. Price starts moving after the stream ends. Yeah, no joke, man. Right, Mach HK? That's usually what happens. And absolutely, Jay Payton. More confluence at 57K. If you put an extended trend line from 26th of June of 2019, connect to April 14th of 2023, it will go to 57. Okay, let's see. Let me just check that out. So 2019. Shoot, I gotta put this on like the weekly. So this, hold on. April, or excuse me, June 26th. I think you're thinking about this high here. For me, it's the 24th. Okay. June 2019, connected to April 14th, 2023. That is this. That's April 7th of 2025. Okay, where am I looking at? 2023. I think you're thinking of this trend line here. Yeah, it does. And look, it does have some confluence there. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, my question is why those two highs is the question. But that is some more confluence. You're right. In all honesty, I expect it to do the exact same thing, but I expect this bear market to be more brutal. Man, it could be, Lost X. This bear market could be really brutal because of the bear divs that we're seeing. Last bear market, we did see the bear divs, higher highs, lower highs, money flow draining out, obviously, as this upper range was forming. But this one has even worse. 1, 2, 3 drives a bear div. I just don't think Bitcoin's kind of in a new life cycle, guys, with the spot ETFs that are trading it now. If we get the big crash, it's going to be because Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor's going to have to liquidate his Bitcoin or something like that. I don't think we're going to go into the 30Ks unless something happens with Saylor, which is absolutely possible, by the way. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I see, connecting tops. Okay. Are you planning to buy some alts? Is there any point? Yes, I am planning to buy some alts. I already started to buy some alts. I bought Chainlink at $14. Where was it? In April. No, $12 back in April. But I did buy some Chainlink in this area too. And I bought more Chainlink at, I think it was at the bottom of this pitchfork. I bought some Chainlink $9 area. But I'm buying the Chainlink. The stuff that I bought just recently is underwater, but I also bought a lot at like the 750 mark in this range. And I plan to, I'll even buy if we come down to 703. I'll buy some more. And I'm planning to, because Chainlink is a long-term project that I really do think will have a good rebound, will survive a bear market. So I'm dollar cost averaging. When you're down more than, in crypto, for me, if you're down more than 40% from the all-time high, or even from the cycle high, then I start dollar cost averaging. We are already down from the cycle high. We are down 76%. So I start dollar cost averaging. Now on Chainlink, I didn't start until like, I think my first buy was around 14. I bought some Solana. I did buy Solana at, I actually bought some at the value area low of this range at 123, but I bought more at that, I think it was 102, something like that, 102. But I bought a lot of Solana under $20 back in the bear market. $16 and $21 is I bought my big buys of Solana at 16 and 21. And I did sell some of that, by the way. Injective. Injective is another one I plan to buy. I plan to buy some more SUI. I did buy this up here, but then I sold 75% of it once we broke these highs. Another coin, of course, Ethereum. I did buy some Ethereum at the $2,000 mark. It was actually pretty much right at $2,000, and I'll buy some more at 1570 to 1600. Okay. What am I looking for to hit on the gold short? So my gold, first of all, these shorts on gold and silver are going to take some time to play out because it's a high time frame correction after that impulsive move. So on the gold short, the final TP would be around the $4,000 to $4,200, right? We rejected from the upper band of the pitchfork. We got that big move down. We got to move up towards like that 786. And if we do drop all the way down here, so I will look to buy spot in this area, and I'll look to completely close the short there. But as far as the more local move goes, I at this low, I'm taking out 50% of the short position. And then at the value area low, I'm probably going to close out the rest of it. It's because, yeah, I mean, I might hold 10% of it down to here. And depends on how fast we get down there. But for the most part, when we take out the value area low and some of that liquidity, because we're just trading this volume profile, right? Trading the volume profile. If you lose the POC, you have a high likelihood to come to value area low. Also, in this smaller move, 3-wave corrective move, 3-wave corrective move, 3-wave corrective move, a little WXY in here because this start was a 3-wave move. If we look at another potential short area for gold, we can pull that golden pocket and right where that pitchfork band is, because if we got the 3-wave move down here and then we're going to get kind of this 3-wave move up to golden pocket before seeing another 3-wave move down to value area low, that $5,200 area, $5,250 to $5,265. But my stop's already at break even on gold, which it could get stopped out soon here. And I've taken 1 TP on it. BTC, is it rejecting? It's starting to reject. Yeah, it's trying to break out, guys. It is trying to break out. Remember yesterday, it was a couple hours after we ended the live stream. We finally came down and took the low that was below us. In that case, it was at, I don't even remember. Yesterday when we were looking here, we were looking for this low at 75.92. And so the stream ended a couple hours later. We came down and took it just to push up to like the top of the range. We didn't even take the liquidity. And we have this just below us that I'm looking at taking now too. So if we do take it in the next couple hours, I'm going to be wary of us just doing a similar move where we move up to pretty much the highs of the range and then lose it. So if I start to see us rejecting at the highs of the range like this, so if we're continuing to kind of chop in here and we come down in a couple hours, hit that and then move up, once we start getting up to like the POC and these highs, if we do start to reject, I'll probably close 50% and just wait because you can always re-enter. G-Save 77, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. And God bless you too. People are going long, very heavy, around 40 to 59K. Yep, I agree. People will. I think as soon as we break the lows, people are going to start going heavy. The 60K lows, people will start going in heavy again. For me, not until we hit 58, 57. And that's not heavy. I won't be going in heavy yet. Around 54, I will start to. But and if you're buying on spot, though, if you're willing to hold it, for a bit in the negative, then you're still okay. Because I was buying some Bitcoin at 32,000 and then we dropped to 15, but I didn't sell it. I just waited until it got back above 32,000. Altcoins will still get big moves up when BTC pumps. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Any chance you could make some quick video on how to pull a pitchfork? I know. A lot of people have asked me that. Yes, I can. I can, and I will. You shorted gold at 54. But I gave up at my entry again. Oh, man, Odyssey. And welcome in, Odyssey. It's good to see you here. I think alts which cost less than $10 a piece are useless. Yeah, a lot of the alts, guys, 90% of the alts are useless and are probably going to fail, especially if we go into an aggressive bear market. Like, DOT was supposed to be one of the huge altcoins that, was going to, layer 0, going to revolutionize everything. DOT I don't think DOT will ever recover. I mean, it might push back up into like the, $5, $10 area, but I don't think DOT is ever going to get up to like even the 30s again. Like, actually, yeah, it might not even push up into the 20s. It is just crazy. If we look at DOT's demise, at one point it was in the 50s. Somewhere I have a Polkadot wallet with like 5 DOT in it that I bought at like $20. So that's a waste. That was a long time ago. You are starting to see some weekly bull divs on DOT. I would still look for one more. I mean, we're rejecting from the midline. Could you come down to the bottom at 72 cents? Yeah. Anyone why flow? Wait, hello. Do you know anyone know why pump and flow? It's probably a scam coin that people are putting money into. Is it new? Oh, it's not. Okay. Wow. Well, first of all, it's had a very rough time as well. It's such low liquidity. That's why a couple people buy it. It's going to pump up like that. You do have some very nice daily bull divs on this thing. Money flow bull divs. But look at this. Mostly a downtrend. Go sideways for a bit. Start a downtrend again. I mean, I have no idea what this altcoin does, but I would be very cautious on this thing. Money flow still looks pretty bad on the 3-day, though. And look at what happened a few days ago. You pumped up and then you lost it. And then you pretty much went to the lows again. There's a lot of wicks on this thing, so low liquidity. Maybe a dumb question, but when we trade divergences, we are assuming a break in market structure. Not always. Andrew, that's not a dumb question either. What we're assuming, like usually when you're looking for bull divs, you're trading divergences, you're waiting until you get to your level. Like you want to see the divergences starting to form as you're coming down to your level. So for this case, like I'm looking at this low into a golden pocket, and I'm not going to long right here unless we break market structure, and then I can look for a higher low on a retracement. But as you're forming those divergences coming down here, you're not going to long here even though the divergence is already formed. You're still going to wait for it to kind of grind down to your level. And once it hits that, if it's still continuing to build divergences, Sometimes you can long from that level. You're not waiting for a break in market structure. You're just longing from that level, hoping that it will give you that break in market structure, right? So it's just, you never know for sure. It's based off probability, but if you see divergences on your side, it gives you a far greater probability that that the trade is actually going to play out. If you're a more conservative trader, you're a market structure break trader. You always wait for a break in market structure. So like even in this little thing here, you could wait until we come up and we break market structure bullishly. Say we break it bullishly, and then now you're going to come back down and make a higher low. And then you can long that higher low with the stop below that low. You would do something like this. And then you'd be looking at least to target your range highs of this small kind of crappy range. Paras, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Coin operated, welcome in. Chainlink isn't useless. Avi isn't useless. Polkadot is useless. Yes. I think Ethereum, even though it's old and slow and clunky, has very much use cases. I think Solana has a lot of use cases. I think Chainlink has a lot of use cases. Oracle. Let's see. What are some of the other ones that I'm looking at? Sei and Sui are pretty quick layer ones. BNB, actually, guys, BNB this year, or this cycle, was one of the few coins that made new all-time highs, but it made significant new all-time highs. Like, BNB, from your 2021 all-time highs, from like 600, it doubled it. You know, that was pretty much what Bitcoin did, from 69K or 65K to 120K, 130K, right? So Bitcoin pretty much doubled its all-time high. BNB did as well. Now, Solana only came up a little bit above its all-time high. Ethereum only SFP'd the all-time high. But BNB was a beast. And I think BNB does have a use case as far as the exchange goes and everything. So I like BNB, man. I will buy more. Like the next cycle, it just does tend to run. We have a fresh lower high at 68,400 very locally. Yeah, I think you mean this one right here. Yeah, that's an internal lower high there. Or yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. 68,460. Yep, I agree. Yeah, I know. I would never buy Flow either. Could DCA spot if you went that route. Yeah, that's what I do. DCA on spot. Like when I'm talking about buying these altcoins, guys, I'm talking about DCAing on spot, but I do dynamic DCAing. So I'm only DCAing once I start getting to my major support levels. Like I'm not going to DCA every week while it's pumping. I'm going to DCA after it's dumped 40 to 50% and it's coming to major support. And I want to see bull divs on the chart. High time frame. Jeez. All right. Well, guys, I am going to get going here for the weekend. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for tuning in. I'll try to keep you guys updated in the Telegram. If I do end up taking this long, let me actually make sure there's an alert set here. If I do end up taking this long later today, I'll let you know. If we get a pump up before then, like, honestly, the only level I'm really interested in shorting would be probably that value area high around $70,000. If we do come up to the Coinbase POC, because the Coinbase POC and Bybit POC are different, around 69,000, that's maybe going to be where your VWAP kind of goes down to, or actually in about 2 hours, it's going to snap to close, snap to price action on close. So, I just think that it's likely we're going to make a lower high. And if this is the low of 3, then we can look between the 382 and the 0.5. But that 382 right now is right around the value area high. So right around 70K is where I would be looking for a potential short. Even within this third wave, you can kind of see 1, 2, 3. So if we get a pull up in here, then we could look at pulling it here. Yeah, and then I guess because the bottom of the pitchfork band is around this 0.5, that's for your lower time frame 3. So if I do short here, I'll take profit as soon as we start to break the lows. Actually, I'd probably take profit once we start to break the lows into this golden pocket and SFP. But awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, I guess we did almost 3, on Tuesday we did 3.5 hours. We're 10 minutes short of 3.5 hours again. So thank you guys all so much for being here. Please hit the like button on your way out. I will see you normal schedule next week. So I'll see you guys next week. Normal times, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays for streams, and then Monday, Wednesdays for videos. And remember, if you want to join the Telegram, all you have to do is register with Bybit or BYDFI. BYDFI, deposit $100. And then once you do that, click the Telegram link, type in /verify and your BYDFI user ID, and you'll automatically be in. And once you're in, you're in.